Chapter 1069. Zhu Tian's body trembled. He couldn't hold on any longer. His body was about to be penetrated, and blood mist spurted out from his mouth. A large mouthful of blood rolled out from his throat as he was sent flying. Blood splattered in the void and dyed the shattered void red. The Zhu Tian of the Zhu Palace, who had astonishing battle prowess, was in a miserable state at this moment. How valiant was Su Yan! He had stepped into the heavenly god realm after bathing in the reincarnation divine punishment. Now, his battle prowess was tyrannical. He punched out with a peerless dragon fist that looked down on everything. It pierced through the void and sent Zhu Tian flying. This punch seemed to have shattered the legends of Zhu Tian's invincible past, shocking everyone present. Heavens! The deities trembled. They could only feel disbelief at the scene before them. There was no other expression on their faces. What kind of scene was this? The dark tide that filled the sky exploded. An extremely tyrannical figure had destroyed a legend with a single punch. Zhu Tian's body trembled violently as he spurted out blood. He was no match for Zhu Tian. Zhu Tian seemed to be on the verge of defeat. Su Xianren's strength had refreshed their understanding of Su Yan. Moreover, it had only been a night. What kind of opportunity did he have to cultivate such extraordinary battle prowess? Even the young overlords of the various races who boasted of being peerless geniuses felt like their livers were being torn apart. There was a trace of fear in their eyes. How terrifying was Su Xianren? Was he invincible? Unbelievable. Zhu Tian has brought out his ultimate trump card, but he still can't suppress his peerless edge. The experts in the outside world were dumbfounded. They were shocked from the bottom of their hearts. This punch seemed to dominate the world and directly established Su Yan's invincible status among his peers. Swish! Swish! Under the shocked gazes of everyone present, Su Yan's figure traversed the shattered space and instantly arrived in front of Zhu Tian, who had been sent flying. Su Yan's battle blood surged, revealing a ferocious might that could shake the world. He punched out again, and the shockwaves of a heavenly god surged as he bombarded Zhu Tian. Every generation of ancestral sky is an undefeatable legend. I am undefeatable, invincible. Zhu Tian, who looked miserable, suddenly let out a low roar. He stabilized his flying body, and dark tides gushed out from his blood-stained body. His foundation was once again released and burned to its limits. Do your best to maintain the glory of the ancestral heaven mark. That's them, not you. You're just sitting back and enjoying the fruits of others' labor. Su Yan's eyes shone with golden divine light as he raised his fist and smashed it forward. His peerless strength caused the boundless darkness tide to collapse. All matter was swept up, and the bombardment caused Zhu Tian's body to tremble once again. It was an earth-shattering scene. Su Yan used his inner strength to create chaos and open up a world that belonged to him. This battle stunned the world. Many important figures could see that Su Yan's energy didn't originate from the universe. The heavenly god energy he released came from within. Moreover, Su Yan's body was burning like a furnace, absorbing all the energy within the universe for his own use. Then, it evolved into Su Yan's innate combat strength. It had to be said that it made them shudder. What kind of great Tao was this? Why was Su Yan's explosive form different from everyone else's? Could it be that he had embarked on a different great Tao? Boom! The boundless darkness tide collapsed once again. No matter how strong Zhu Tian's foundation was or how vast the divine energy he released was, he couldn't suppress Su Yan at all. Su Yan had a peerless sharpness that could tear apart any energy and matter. Boom! Su Yan punched out once again. A dragon in the wilderness was like an eagle soaring into the sky. The moment he punched out, the world rumbled. The world undulated, and the great Tao of the void collapsed. Was this still the conquest of a young overlord? Why did they feel that it was a fierce battle between a martial Tao grandmaster and a fledgling cultivator? They didn't expect Zhu Tian to be suppressed once again. This punch landed on his chest, and it was dripping with blood. Arg! Zhu Tian roared. His chest caved in, and his body was about to shatter and explode. "I'm going to kill you," Su Yan roared. His black hair danced in the wind, and his eyes were like lightning. Su Yan's fist was instantly released. A kind of blurry light was released along with the rise and fall of Su Yan's chest. Reincarnation. Zhu Tian's expression changed drastically. In his severely injured state, Su Yan's fist released the reincarnation Great Tao. When his secret art was used, Zhu Tian felt that his life was taken away, his energy was taken away, and everything was taken away. Zhu Tian's aura declined to the extreme, and he was about to reach the end of his life. Zhu Tian's scalp went numb. This was definitely the reincarnation secret art. It instantly enveloped him, and he was about to die and decline. Even Su Yan's aura was changing. His flesh shell seemed to have turned into a halberd, and he was about to slash down and kill the declining Zhu Tian, not giving him any chance to deal with the reincarnation secret art. This was the terror of the reincarnation secret art. It had the confidence to kill a supreme of the same generation in a single exchange. This was a peerless trump card that made all the kings tremble. Everyone knew that it was extremely difficult to kill a young overlord. One had to use extraordinary means, but Su Yan's reincarnation secret art did indeed have such a terrifying effect. Roar. He released a crazy roar. He was truly scared stiff. Su Yan had the ability to kill supreme beings of his generation. Once he was struck, he would definitely die and nurse a grievance. What happened? All the experts were silent, and their breathing was heavy. They saw that Zhu Tian had aged and was about to be killed by Su Yan in an instant. Some people trembled in fear. Who knew what would happen if Zhu Tian died? If Su Yan really broke the million-year legend of the Ancestral Hall's Zhu Tian, the experts of the Ancestral Hall would probably go crazy. At the same time, in the outside world, the experts of the Ancestral Hall were about to join hands to activate the Supreme Treasure and open the reincarnation universe. No matter what happened, Zhu Tian couldn't die. Even if he suffered a crushing defeat, he couldn't die. That was because his era of legends had yet to arrive. He had to step into the Divine King's realm in order to create Zhu Tian's glory. Boom! Just as the scene was about to turn bloody, a terrifying light appeared. Zhu Tian's imprint rotated and flashed with the unrivaled aura of the past Zhu Tians. At this moment, it was as though the heavens had been overturned and a group of kings had descended to the lower realm. They emitted a thunderous energy that rushed towards Su Yan. Su Yan's body tensed up as he sensed great danger. His corporeal body that was about to slash Zhu Tian shuddered violently, and the heart of his brows cracked. Blood light flowed down, and the primordial spirit that was sitting cross-legged inside felt as if it had encountered a group of kings that wanted to destroy it. Future Buddha. Su Yan's primordial spirit erupted. His golden primordial spirit glowed with a solemn expression as he chanted the Sutra of the future. He was like an ancient Buddha sitting in the future with boundless Dharma, blocking the killing move of Zhu Tian's imprint. However, Su Yan wasn't having a good time either. Blood sprinkled down from the space between his brows. The future Buddha's body swayed and was about to collapse in the future world. However, Su Yan still managed to block the killing move of Zhu Tian's imprint. I've heard from the clan elders that the Divine King's realm would disappear with each generation of Zhu Tian's imprint. However, each generation of Zhu Tian's imprint would accumulate the perfect foundation of the Divine King and continue to be passed down. This generation of Zhu Tian's imprint is peerless and terrifying. Luo Tian's heavy words rang out, causing Yi Yuan and the others to shiver. Just now, Su Yan might have been crushed by the spiritual will of a group of kings. If it wasn't for the Sutra of the Future, Su Yan would have died. Was this the ultimate foundation? Tensor frowned. If Zhu Tian stepped into the Divine King's realm and merged with the invincible Zhu Tian's imprint, he would definitely become even stronger. At that time, who would be able to stop Zhu Tian? This was a monster. One impressive Zhu Tian's imprint. Su Yan's expression turned solemn. He had almost died just now. Fortunately, the Sutra of the Future was powerful enough. Although Su Yan's imprint was special enough, the Zhu Tian's imprint was extremely powerful. It would be difficult to devour the Zhu Tian's imprint. One had to wait for the imprint to decline before there was any hope of devouring it and snatching away the invincible glory of the previous generations of Zhu Tian's imprint. You're really lucky. I don't believe I can't kill you. Zhu Tian's words were cold. He hadn't expected Su Yin to be able to withstand it. Even more so, he had grasped the secret of reincarnation and even the Buddhist heavenly art. Zhu Tian, do you think you're qualified to fight me now? Su Yin sneered. I have my own methods to kill you. Zhu Tian roared. His body suddenly split into two, and two Zhu Tian stood out. Their auras were peerlessly terrifying. These were two identical Zhu Tians. It was impossible to distinguish the real from the fake. Even their auras stood at the peak of the realm. What? The experts were shocked. What kind of divine ability was this? The two Zhu Tians appeared and roared toward the sky. They emitted furious killing intent as they charged towards Su Yin. One chi into three pure ones. Luo Tiandu's expression changed drastically. The rumor is true. The ancestral hall has grasped the one chi into three pure ones. Although it's incomplete, it's the strongest secret technique in history. I didn't expect Zhu Tian to have cultivated it. It's equivalent to two Zhu Tians joining forces to suppress Su Yin. Where's the one chi into three pure ones? Has the treasury of the reincarnation universe been opened? The drowsy Tai Bao Kai suddenly quivered and got up. He was so excited that his four paws were trembling. The legendary one chi into three pure ones. Once this secret technique was cultivated, one would be able to split into three. When three experts joined forces, they would be invincible among their peers. Now, a shocking divine ability had appeared, causing the experts present to scream. Even the almighty experts of the sealed heaven region were envious. It was indeed the one chi into three pure ones. The ancestral hall actually had such a secret technique. One chi into three pure ones, the strongest secret technique in history. Heavens, Zhu Tian has actually cultivated the strongest secret technique in history. Is he going to flip the tables? Who can stop two Zhu Tians joining forces? Countless people roared uncontrollably. All the young overlords were trembling. Who could stop Zhu Tian? Who could suppress the combined might of two Zhu Tians? Was Zhu Tian going to be invincible in the world? It's over. The two Zhu Tians roared. They joined forces and released the power of landslides and tsunamis to attack Su Yin. The spectators thought that Su Yin would retreat and avoid the suppression of the strongest divine ability in history. But who knew that Su Yin would charge forward like a heavenly king supporting the four poles of the universe? His eyes were like lightning, and his roar shattered the starry sky. I don't care if you're real or fake. Do you dare take a punch from me? Su Yan's black hair scattered behind him. His entire fist was glowing and surging with the grand primordial profundities. He wanted to return all things to their origin and shatter all illusions. He roared and streaked across the sky like a comet. His fist imprint was matchless and revealed the strongest aura in history as it blasted toward Zhu Tian. Chapter 1070. Su Xianren dares to face the I Chi into three pure ones? Does he want to die? This is the strongest secret technique in history, the I Chi into three pure ones. Although Zhu Tian has split into two, his combat strength has not declined at all. This secret technique is truly earth-shattering. It is undoubtedly one of the strongest secret techniques in history, the I Chi into three pure ones. All the cultivators present were shocked. The big shots in the outside world were envious, and the Almighties were no exception. Even the Almighties yearned for this secret technique. It was said to be one of the 9 strongest divine abilities in history. Even for the Almighty, this was the first time they had seen the appearance of the first divine ability secret technique. Although the ancestral hall only had a fragment of it, its value was immeasurable. Perhaps even the taboo would covet such a rare inheritance. The Ancestral Hall really has such a secret technique. I didn't expect them to really have it. I wonder if the one His Highness Daozu obtained is the same as the incomplete version in our Dao Palace's collection. A group of old antiques from the Taoist temple gathered together to discuss. Someone said coldly, "If they are not the same, then will the invincible I Chi Sanqing appear in the hands of the Taoist temple one day?" Who could resist this kind of temptation? The Tao Palace did have the I Chi into 3 pure ones, and it was also an incomplete version. However, the Ancestral Hall also had an incomplete version. If the two were combined into one, it would be the complete I Chi into 3 pure ones. Even an incomplete version would have certain flaws. However, if it was the complete I Chi into 3 pure ones, it would be the most perfect. There were many cloning techniques in history, and there were even some that were created by taboo techniques. However, no secret technique could surpass the status of the I Chi into 3 pure ones. Boom! This battle caused all the cultivators present to go crazy. The two ancestral heavens released an invincible aura. During the process, everyone stared at the ancestral heavens. The two figures were equally terrifying, bringing with them unfathomable dark tides that surged and rippled, sweeping across all directions. It was equivalent to two young supremes joining forces. Their divine might was heaven-defying. Who could resist such a supreme technique? Some of the young geniuses were truly in despair. With such a powerful secret technique in hand, who could defeat the ancestral heavens in the future? This was the strongest secret technique in history. Even if it was an incomplete version, it was enough to sweep away all his peers. Kill! The two ancestral heavens roared at the same time. Their movements were synchronized, and they charged over like two black demonic stars. The surging waves of light penetrated the vast land. No one expected Su Xianren to be like a sharp blade cutting through the battlefield amidst this destruction. His body streaked across the horizon like an imperial star, emitting a divine might that could dominate his generation. Take this! Su Yan roared. He was using violence to curb violence and using brute force to break through. Su Yan did not care about the one Qi into 3 pure ones or the two ancestral heavens. Once the initial fist was unleashed, who could compete with him? Zhu Tian's strongest secret art was incomplete, but Su Yan's was the most complete one. As his cultivation of the initial sutra deepened, the power of his initial fist would become stronger. Boom! A dazzling fist, like a blurry universe, released light that swept across the mountains and rivers. Vaguely, the world seemed to be moving in reverse, returning to the source, returning to the primal chaos. All Tao and laws were buried in the primal chaos. Before this punch could even reach them, the Tuzu heavens shuddered violently. However, they still existed, emitting powerful undulations. Without a doubt, this was the strongest secret technique in history. It would not be affected by the unique profundity of the initial fist and destroy one of their clones. This also showed how terrifying the one Qi into 3 pure ones was. After all, once the initial fist was unleashed, the great Tao would no longer exist. However, the Tao and laws of the one Qi into 3 pure ones would still exist, and it could still persist. However, under the influence of the initial fist, the two clones were somewhat blurry and unreal. They were full of flaws. Without a doubt, these were the flaws of the one Qi into 3 pure ones. They were directly reflected by the initial fist. It had to be said that the initial fist was too powerful. Before it was unleashed, the flaws had already been resolved in the initial fist domain. If it was complete and not incomplete, there would definitely be no flaws. Initial fist. The two ancestral heavens' expressions changed drastically. This was definitely the legendary initial fist. It was so powerful that their two clones were unsteady. What's going on? Many people felt that this was Zhu Tian's moment of glory. He might even be able to kill Su Xianren. However, the outcome made them pale. The two clones suddenly merged into one, turning into one Zhu Tian. This scene stunned them. Could the one Shi into three pure ones be an incomplete technique? The flaw was so great that it was almost impossible to operate. Zhu Tian has become stronger. Someone was horrified. The one Shi into three pure ones had turned into clones and merged together, causing Zhu Tian's aura to soar. He had no choice but to do this. He had no choice but to use the forbidden secret technique to obtain greater strength. This was because he was facing the bloody suppression of the initial fist. Su Yin pounced over, his fist smashing forward. He wanted to break through everything and kill Zhu Tian. Zhu Tian also waved his palm and smashed down. The two experts collided, causing the world to explode. Countless cracks appeared in the universe, and this corner of the world collapsed. Only the two figures remained. Kill! Su Yan's explosive roar reverberated between heaven and earth, rippling with the conviction to kill Zhu Tian. Everyone felt like their livers were being torn apart. At this moment, Su Yan was like a supreme god in their hearts. He had shattered the heavens with a single fist and shattered Zhu Tian's palm. Moreover, his entire body had exploded into a ball of bloody light under his peerless strength. No, Zhu Tian, impossible. In the outside world, all the experts in the ancestral hall let out a roar of grief. How could this be? How could this happen? How could Zhu Tian be destroyed by Su Yan's fist? The one Shi into three pure ones had been used, and even the forbidden secret technique had been awakened. However, why couldn't he block Su Yan's fist? Why did his body collapse and explode into bloody light? Everyone was terrified, not daring to look directly at this blood-soaked figure. He was Su Xianren. Today, in the reincarnation universe, he had destroyed Zhu Tian with a single fist. The entire reincarnation universe seemed to be trembling. Everyone exclaimed in disbelief. It was unknown how many people's souls were trembling. That fist just now seemed to have smashed into their primordial spirits, making them want to kneel down and worship it. The eyes of the spectators were filled with shock. Zhu Tian really died? You won't be able to escape. Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. Zhu Tian wasn't dead? Everyone could see that the exploding bloody light instantly converged into a figure that was fleeing frantically through the void. Zhu Tian isn't dead? Many people were stunned. Why wasn't he dead? If we don't kill Zhu Tian, then the invincible imprint will transform him in the future. Zhu Tian at the Divine King realm is definitely heaven-defying. We have to kill him. Yi Yuan and the others were nervous. How could Zhu Tian still be alive? Could it be that he had an immortal Tao substance to protect his life like the Master Realm? This is one spirit into three pure ones. A knowledgeable old cultivator said solemnly, this is the secret technique of one spirit into three pure ones. Legend has it that when you split into two, you have two lives. Of course, Zhu Tian isn't dead yet, but his foundations are greatly damaged. Without divine medicine, he won't be able to recover. Everyone was speechless. Zhu Tian had two lives, but one was destroyed by Su Yan. But if it was the complete one spirit into three pure ones, wouldn't he have three lives? Zhu Tian, you won't be able to escape. Su Yan's heaven and earth eye opened wide. He saw through all illusions and locked on Zhu Tian's fleeing figure. Su Yan leaped across the sky and caught up to Zhu Tian in less than 2 breaths. He raised his golden foot and stomped down viciously, wanting to trample Zhu Tian to death. He had to get rid of this enemy. This was a heaven-sent opportunity. Once Zhu Tian became a god king in the future and fused with the invincible foundation of Zhu Tian's imprint, it would be difficult to get rid of Zhu Tian. He would be the next Xiaoming, and he might be even more heaven-defying than Xiaoming. Su Yan, stop. The elders of the ancestral hall, gathered in the outside world, were really crazy. They worked together to take out their great Tao saint weapon. This was a bright sword embryo. The moment it was released, it was like the awakening of a heavenly sword that could slice apart the universe. It revealed a sword light that could tear apart a corner of the universe. Heaven's severing sword, a top great Tao saint weapon. They are crazy. How dare they attack Reincarnation Universe? Even if Reincarnation Universe has declined to such a level, it isn't something they can easily split apart. Some important figures were terrified. This was their race's inheritance treasure, Heaven Severing Sword. It was a top great Tao saint weapon of the Ancestral Hall. Rumor had it that in ancient times, the Ancestral Hall had used the Heaven Refining Cauldron to refine the Heaven Severing Sword. After the passage of time, the Heaven Severing Sword had evolved into a top great Tao saint weapon. It was one of the Ancestral Hall's most precious treasures. They didn't expect the elders of the Ancestral Hall to bring the Heaven Severing Sword. Chi. The peerless sword light was terrifying. It instantly slashed toward Reincarnation Universe. This sword light pierced through time and space, slashing down to stop Su Yan's crazy actions. But no matter how fast they were, they couldn't be faster than Su Yan. The golden foot crushed the void, causing Zhu Tian to howl in grief. His body was collapsing uncontrollably. His body, which had already suffered a great loss of vitality, was now falling apart like mud. I can't accept this. Zhu Tian howled in grief. His blood-stained hair was disheveled like a mad beast. He couldn't accept this. His path to becoming a king hadn't even begun. His legend had just begun. Was it going to end like this? Zhu Tian couldn't accept this. How could he die like this? But all his resistance was useless. Su Yan was determined to kill him. At the moment of death, Zhu Tian wanted to roar and reveal the secret of Su Yan's initial fist. But it was all in vain. Su Yan's spiritual will had already suppressed this space-time, not giving Zhu Tian any chance to struggle. He was truly in despair. Why was this happening? Why was the invincible legend of Zhu Tian ending in his hands? What made Zhu Tian despair was that the Zhu Tian mark had given up on him, not leaking any energy to save his life. He had lost the right to possess the Zhu Tian mark, mercilessly deprived. At this moment, Zhu Tian understood that the Zhu Tian mark had its own will. This was a bloody reality. Bang! In the end, Su Yan's foot stomped down and crushed Zhu Tian. 3 chapters have been updated consecutively. It's said that there will be a power outage today. The village will have a power outage for the entire day. I'm updating in advance. He, shamelessly begging for some monthly votes and recommendation votes. Mobile phone, No ads XN 81 XN. Chapter 1071. Zhu Tian has been defeated. Zhu Tian was actually trampled to death by Su Xianren. His second life lasted for 3 breaths before dying. Zhu Tian has been defeated. The legend has been broken. Is Su Xianren invincible now? Everyone present went crazy. They lost control and screamed. Their eyes were filled with fear and reverence. Even young overlords were no exception. Zhu Tian had been killed by Su Yan, an unparalleled legend of the Zhu Tian of all eras. This was an earth-shattering event that would shake the entire universe. The Ancestral Hall Zhu Tian had been trampled to death by Su Xianren. His second life had returned to nothingness and died completely. However, what astonished Su Yan was that the ancestral heaven imprint had left his glabella and turned into a blood-colored shadow. It tore through time and space with lightning speed to escape. Not good, the ancestral heaven imprint is escaping. Luo Tiandu's expression changed slightly. He said in a low voice, once the ancestral heaven imprint escapes, the Ancestral Hall can still nurture a second Zhu Tian with their foundation. Their race should have a hidden seed candidate. Nurture is fine. The strongest Zhu Tian has already been killed. What's there to be afraid of? Said Tensor. Upon hearing this, Luo Tiandu shook his head and said, you don't know how terrifying Daozu's ancestral heaven imprint is. How many epochs have passed? For millions of years, the ancestral heaven has been invincible. This is a bloody fact. After millions of years, the cultivation world has produced many outstanding talents. It's possible for a second or even a third Su Yan to appear. But why is the ancestral heaven invincible? It's because he has stepped into the divine king realm. He is truly invincible. The strength of the ancestral heaven imprint is beyond your expectations. These secrets were top secrets passed down from the great Luo Empire. Luo Tiandu couldn't help but reveal them. Now that Su Yin had created a legend, one shouldn't forget that the ancestral heaven's strongest era was in the divine king realm. He was the strongest ancestral heaven who had fused the cultivation essence of various epics. Forget it. A blurry figure was hidden deep in the darkness. It was a blood-colored life form. Its cold eyes stared at the ancestral heaven imprint as it muttered to itself, "Even if I succeed, it won't be of any help to me. Instead, it will invite disaster." Then its blood-colored eyes glanced at the ancestral heaven who had exploded into a bloody light and said disdainfully, "Too pitiful, too pitiful. But you are all serving the ancestral heaven's imprint. But after so many years, you are just servants, not worth mentioning." Then, the shadow of the blood-colored creature slowly disappeared. He knew that he could not kill Su Yan. Su Yan's condition did not allow him to use his full strength. "Su Yan, just you wait. I will come and find you. The day I come out will be the day I destroy all the Angier realms and become the king of the universe. That day will come soon." A cold voice that contained cold ambition appeared. He had been coveting the reincarnation fruit for a long time, but Su Yin had taken the peach. Although it wasn't a complete reincarnation fruit, it was of great help to him. However, it was snatched away by Su Yin just like that. He couldn't swallow this resentment. However, he didn't care. There were other methods to make up for his shortcomings. That day would come soon. The ancestral heaven's imprint ran away. While the experts were still in shock, someone discovered that the ancestral heaven's imprint had turned into a blood-colored light and traversed through time and space. "The ancestral heaven's imprint is mine." Su Yan's eyes widened. How could he let go of this opportunity? As long as the special Great Tao imprint on his body could devour the ancestral heaven's imprint, he would be able to obtain all of the ancestral heaven's ultimate techniques and cultivation experience. To Su Yin, this was a priceless immortal treasury. Its significance was even more astonishing than killing the ancestral heaven. Buzz! Su Yan's figure covered the sky and wanted to grab the ancestral heaven's imprint. However, what horrified him was that the universe beyond the heavens had been cut open. Snow-white light surged forth, causing even his eye of heaven and earth to feel a piercing pain. The universe seemed to have ushered in doomsday. A huge crack appeared at the peak of the heavens and ran through millions of miles. Boom! A sword radiance that reached the heavens came slashing down from the outer realm. It was filled with energy fluctuations that could sever all life. As it came rolling down, it was as if it was going to cut open a great realm of life. This is a supreme Great Tao Saint weapon. Many people lost control and cried out. The crowd was trembling because this sword radiance was too sharp. It had forcefully opened the reincarnation universe. Before it could attack, the bodies of the experts were about to be cut open. Many people were no exception now that things had developed to this stage. Su Shinran's potential was too terrifying. There were experts from the Ancestral Hall and the Sealed Heaven region occupying the outside world. How could they let Su Yin escape unscathed? Many elders of the Ancestral Hall joined forces. They brought out the Sky Splitter Sword and split open a corner of the reincarnation universe. With the Sky Splitter Sword's supreme profundities, they slashed down at Su Yin to end this battle. However, it was already too late. Zhu Tian was already dead. He had been trampled to death by Su Yin. All the elders of the Ancestral Hall roared uncontrollably. Their hearts were filled with world-burning fury. They were so angry that their hearts and lungs were trembling. In particular, some elders were so angry that their noses and mouths were spurting out blood. They were about to emit green smoke. Kill him. I want him to die without a burial ground and be buried with Zhu Tian. The experts from the Ancestral Hall went mad. They didn't care about anything else and brought out the Sky Splitter Sword. The terrifying sword radiance rushed towards Su Yin. However, The sword radiance had just arrived. The dark reincarnation universe was steaming with terrifying radiance. The entire reincarnation universe was grand and peerless. Although it was on the verge of death, the reincarnation universe still emitted nomological energy. The huge reincarnation universe was like a heavenly disk that rumbled as it rotated. Trillions of nomological energy flowed out. The sword radiance was directly blocked by the reincarnation universe's nomological energy. No matter how terrifying the sword radiance was, it still collapsed. Many people paled. The reincarnation universe was still powerful. Even a peak Great Tao sacred weapon couldn't penetrate it. It had its own nomological energy that didn't allow energy that surpassed the nomological energy to appear. Moreover, if it wasn't for the decline of the reincarnation universe, there might have been energy that could have destroyed the group of elders from the ancestral hall. The universe couldn't be humiliated. They had to maintain absolute reverence. Zhu Tian, how can you die? Your time of glory hasn't come yet. How can you die? The elders of the ancestral hall couldn't let it go. They howled in grief. They couldn't accept Zhu Tian's death. They were still waiting to see Zhu Tian's era of invincibility. How could this generation's Zhu Tian fall at the hands of Su Yin? If he had fallen at the hands of other experts, they wouldn't be so angry. But who was Su Yin? He was the rising star of the burial realm. There was no need to say much about the grudges between the two groups. Zhu Tian's death at the hands of Su Yin was equivalent to Su Yin giving the ancestral hall a hard slap in the face, wiping away their previous humiliation. Who would have thought that the incomplete universe would turn out like this? The heaven-sealing 10 heroes had fallen. Sundome's fate was unknown. The North Demon had been killed. The Heaven Suppression Battle God had been beheaded. Now, even Zhu Tian had been killed by Su Xianren. Such a tragic event was unheard of. A plot to kill Su Yin had caused the death of so many experts. 2 heavenly supremes had fallen, and a supreme physique had been beheaded. The heavens sealing 10 heroes of the sealing heaven domain had died. Because of this, it was a bloody event. Many onlookers couldn't believe it. Anyone could see it. Terrifying killing intent was released. One after another, the raging flames of the Almighties swept over, about to drown the entire reincarnation universe. Kill your way in and destroy Su Yin. The old antiques overseeing the Tao Palace, Qiu Boyan of the sealing heaven domain, and the group of old experts of the ancestral hall all released flames of shock and fury, covering the reincarnation universe. At this moment, they all understood that they were really going to attack the reincarnation universe. Hunlong, divine might that filled the sky, surged over, causing the entire reincarnation universe to shake. The world inside was even more shaken. The heroes were all alarmed. The end of the universe had truly arrived. The entire reincarnation universe flickered between brightness and darkness. Countless great cracks appeared. Many people were sucked into the great cracks of the universe. A large number of them died. The bloody event caused great chaos and panic. Many people wanted to flee, but the universe was so big. Where could they flee to? Have they gone mad? A few geniuses with great backgrounds were furious. They didn't care about the consequences and wanted to collapse the reincarnation universe to kill Su Yin. But once they did so, the people here would be plunged into misery and suffering. Hundreds of thousands of creatures would be buried within. Wang, the enormous reincarnation universe, shone as if a giant wheel was rotating, doing its best to maintain the universe's operation. But there were many experts participating in the battle. They attacked frantically, wanting to collapse the reincarnation universe and capture Su Yin. Su Yin's expression changed. He met up with Bao Kai and the others. They had to leave now. The people of the ancestral hall had already gone mad and would open the reincarnation universe to kill him regardless of the consequences. Let me do it. All of a sudden, one black boulder after another fell from the sky in the outer world. It was as if there were 4 meteorites from outer space that weighed millions and millions of pounds. The moment they fell, the reincarnation universe trembled. The millions and millions of layers of reincarnation light became somewhat dim. It was extremely difficult to suppress the 4 black meteorites. Not good. These are heaven-suppressing stones. Luo Tiandu's expression changed greatly. Su Yin, quickly think of a way to leave. These are the 4 heaven-suppressing stones of the Han family. They came from an incomplete universe and were nurtured for countless years. It's said that the heaven-suppressing stones contain heaven-suppressing might and can temporarily suppress the laws of a universe secret realm. Heaven-suppressing stones, damn it. It would be great if we could take them away. Tai Baotsai's eyes were red. He wanted to lie down and sleep. He knew a thing or two about the heaven-suppressing stones. It was said that the heaven-suppressing stone was able to nurture the unique energy of the universe. Its value was not inferior to that of a supreme treasure material. But who would have thought that the Han family's headquarters would have 4 heaven-suppressing stones? You still want to take the heaven-suppressing stones? Luo Tiandu glared. Can you leave first? Yi Yuan and the others were very calm. So calm? Luo Tiandu was stunned and even shuddered. Could it be that the taboo behind them had come? If that was the case, wouldn't Xiao Boyan and the others go mad? If the taboo really came out, those who attacked would be so frightened that they would piss their pants. Wouldn't I be rich if I could rob the Han family? Such a thought emerged in Su Yan's mind. A great world that had existed for millions of years would have tens of thousands of treasure vaults. The wealth was immeasurable. Chapter 1072. It was said that last time, more than 100 leaders of the sealed heaven domain joined forces to uncover the secrets of the sealed heaven domain. Although the appearance of a taboo had alarmed all the experts, thousands of treasure vaults were opened and countless treasures were dug out, blinding the eyes of the experts of various races. However, some people speculated that those were just ordinary treasure vaults. If the treasure vaults were dug out, it would be the celestial treasures that would be revealed to the public. Although the Han family was not as powerful as the sealed heaven domain, it was the ancestor of the strange doors. It had explored many treasure vaults of the universe's secret realms. The family's foundation could not be underestimated. Although it was declining now, it still had the foundation to rise again in the future. Boom! Now the 4 heaven-suppressing stones were in the sky. One after another, the black stones poured down vast heaven-suppressing energy, causing the great Tao of the reincarnation universe to become unstable. The entire reincarnation universe began to flicker. Everyone could see that the 4 heaven-suppressing stones were suppressing the reincarnation universe, causing the law energy of the reincarnation universe to lose its effect. From this moment on, the entire world seemed to have gone crazy. The big shots in the outside world were envious. The reincarnation universe had been destroyed. The old grandmaster of the Han family had arrived. He looked like a ferocious ghost as he stood on the heaven-suppressing stone and roared, "Su Yin, I will let you die without a burial ground. Today, this reincarnation universe will be your burial ground." Su Yin was not surprised that the Han family came. The 4 black heaven-suppressing stones had shocked the world. They did not expect the Han family to take out such a foundation and even used it at the critical moment to suppress the reincarnation universe. This made Xiao Boyan let out a sinister laugh. A big hand tore the reincarnation universe apart and covered Su Yin with an incomparably ferocious and resentful aura. Su Xianren is finished. The whole scene was in an uproar. The Almighty of the sealed heaven domain had attacked instantly. Everyone knew what had happened in the sealed heaven domain a few days ago. Xiao Boyan was still seriously injured. If he did not kill Su Yin, he would not be able to rest in peace. Bastard! Xiao Boyan's big hand swept across the sky and rushed towards Su Yin. His voice was ferocious. "Su Yin, you killed one of the top 10 Ingjia of the sealed heaven domain and kill my clan's almighty. Sealed heaven domain Xingjia. Old thing, you can really endure it. I almost hammered you to death back then." Su! Su! Now that they recalled the scene of a godly king beating up a mighty figure, they couldn't bear to look at it. "I'll slap you to death," Xiao Boyan roared. He was completely out of control. His aura was released uncontrollably. His roar killed countless innocents. A large number of living beings died. The entire reincarnation universe was shaking. Save me. The world was in chaos. The Almighty attacked regardless of the consequences. Who could withstand the flames of anger? The experts in the outside world used their abilities to bring the young seeds of their clans over. Now that the Almighty was so angry that smoke was coming out of his mouth, it was difficult for them to persuade him to calm down. When the slap was infinitely close to Su Yin, a terrifying sword light shot out. A group of old antiques worked together to revive the heaven-cleaving sword. They slashed at Su Xianren. Su Yin has a great enmity with our clan. We must avenge Zhu Tian's death. We hope the Almighty of the sealed heaven domain will forgive us. The elders of the ancestral hall were determined. They wanted to take away Su Yan's corpse. Zhu Tian was dead, but Su Yan's corpse must be in their hands. Scram! Cho Boyan was in a fit of anger and didn't give anyone face. He wouldn't be satisfied until he killed Su Yin with his own hands. The large hand that was rapidly covering Su Yin turned back and rushed towards the sword light of the sky-chopping sword. However, what made Cho Boyan furious was that in an instant of light, there were actually more than 10 large hands that reached in. Their divine might penetrated the heavens and the earth, as if a sea of stars had descended. Many people turned pale. This wasn't just to kill Su Yin. Most importantly, it was to seize the reincarnation fruits. Some people had already seen an old monster enter the area where the reincarnation fruits grew and ferociously dig up the soil. He was very self-aware and knew that he couldn't compete with the experts of the great sections. But taking away some of the reincarnation fruit soil shouldn't be a big deal, right? But this old antique probably didn't know that the area where the reincarnation fruits grew had been dug up by Su Yin and stored in his void pouch. There wasn't a trace of value left. They've really gone mad. The reincarnation universe was in complete chaos. The number of people who died was incalculable. Those with backgrounds were all led away. The remaining people were all uneasy. Dozens of giant hands passed through and crushed all life forms in the sky. It was as if the world was bleeding and crying. A large number of experts died. Sinister cries reverberated through the blood-soaked mountains and rivers. Su Yin, you're so ruthless. My clan Sundome's fate is unknown. Go back to your clan and ask for forgiveness, said an expert from the Nanyang sect. You evil creature, you relied on the banners of demons to kill the king of myriad demons and the supreme expert of the demon domain. Hand over your life. A large number of northern demons rushed out in anger and targeted Tai Bao Kai. Even the ancestral hall and underworld race experts erupted and attacked Yuan's group. Damn it, the world is really changing. They want to kill these young overlords. They're worried that they'll settle things with them after they mature. The experts from the various great sects were alarmed. What was this? They broke the rules and interfered with the younger generation's fight. They eliminated Yuan's group in advance and killed them. This was a group of 5 peerless experts. Some people felt that if the taboo behind Su Yin stepped out at this juncture, they would be so scared that they would piss their pants. This old man is incomparably heartbroken about the death of the heaven-suppressing battle god. Another cold voice exploded. The Dao Palace's old man finally couldn't sit still and attacked forcefully. His aura filled the entire reincarnation universe and suppressed the entire starry sky until it was dark. Even Xiao Boyan was suppressed. After all, his injuries were quite serious. The old man from the Dao Hall possessed remarkable abilities. Although he had lost an arm and his vitality was greatly damaged, his swift attacks were enough to reverse the situation and unleash a powerful attack. He wanted to suppress Su Yin and obtain the reincarnation fruit. As long as he had the reincarnation fruit, he believed he could stand at the peak and look down on the world. 2 powerful experts and dozens of old antiques attacked. It was a crazy scene. Everyone knew that although they were carrying banners on the surface, most of them actually wanted the reincarnation fruit. You shameless old bastards. Su Yin let out a roar. If my big brother comes, let's see how you'll deal with him. As soon as he said this, the entire universe fell into silence. Everyone who attacked felt a chill from head to toe. Who dared to disrespect the taboo when he shouted out the word taboo? The atmosphere between heaven and earth was suffocating. It was a scene that left the great sects dumbfounded. Those who attacked all stopped. For a moment, no one dared to act rashly. The whole place was in an uproar. This was the power of the taboo. A single word could shake the world and suppress all sections. It was revered and unrivaled in the world. In front of the taboo, any glorious great sect was reduced to a foil. Ha, Su Yin, you're at the end of the road. At this moment, the Han family's old grandmaster, who was maintaining the operation of the 4 heaven-suppressing stones, said eerily, "My clan's powerful expert has calculated that the taboo of this clan has no life. It's either dead or sealed." This sentence was like a clap of thunder that shocked everyone. In a short period of time, the reincarnation universe really went berserk. Everyone who attacked quickly erupted. It was like a sea of stars that filled the sky, were descending, rushing towards Su Yin and the others. T. From the energy source of the exploding universe, a terrifying roar suddenly appeared. The roar caused the 4 heaven-suppressing stones to tremble. The Han family's old grandmaster's body trembled. Blood flowed from his mouth and nose, and even his eardrums were shattered. Great fear rose in his heart. He looked up at the top of the sky and saw a terrifying figure with the head of the sky and the body piercing through the sea of stars. It was extremely ferocious. He directly raised his foot and stomped on the sky, crushing it as he stepped towards the Han family's old grandmaster. No! The Han family's old grandmaster trembled in fear. He turned around and fled, unwilling to stay for a moment longer. However, no matter how fast he was, he couldn't escape the foot that stepped on him. It was as if a million mountains were pressing down, crushing space and time as it stepped on the Han family's old grandmaster's body. "Ancestor, save me." The Han family's old grandmaster was trembling in fear as he screamed hysterically. However, no matter how loud he screamed, it couldn't change anything. The Han family's powerhouses didn't appear to block the disaster for him. Boom! The foot ruthlessly stomped down, causing the Han family's old grandmaster to despair. This was because his body directly exploded. It was a bloody scene. The body of Han family's old grandmaster exploded, and blood splattered across the sky. Everyone was stunned. What was going on? Could it be that the taboo was really here? Su Yin couldn't calm down. This old thing had bullied him for too long. Now that he was stomped to death by Yiling Tian, it was really satisfying. "You bunch of rats, do you think there's no one left in my family? Did you forget what I said before? Do you still want the lives of powerhouses to be sacrificed?" A cold voice sounded, containing a cold, killing intent. Someone saw a terrifying figure in a distant world. He crossed the chaotic land, and the aura he emitted squeezed out terrifying space-time cracks. A terrifying powerhouse had descended, overlooking the entire world. His pores seeped out billions of layers of blood essence, and his divine power was unparalleled. "Grandpa Xiao, ha! Another powerhouse has been born in my family." Yuan and the others were ecstatic. Xiao had come, and Xiao had even stepped into the realm of powerhouses. "You killed one of my family and crippled one of your family's powerhouses." The giant standing in the starry sky spoke with a domineering and ruthless tone. "With just the 2 of you, a powerhouse and a half-step powerhouse, do you have the guts of an immortal? Your family has already declined. What right do you have to challenge us?" Cho Boyan exploded in anger. He couldn't bear to hear such domineering words from Tuesday, since it's not enough. Let Grandpa undergo a tribulation and then send you down to reunite with them. This giant, with an astonishing aura, erupted in an instant. His aura filled the great universe and radiated into the starry sky one after another. He did his best to recover to the extreme. The universe changed because this was a heaven-defying aura that rose from the ground and shook the great Tao of the universe. The blood essence in Yi Lingtian's body was so terrifying that it filled the great domain. This was the resurrection of a peerless powerhouse. Today, he was going to go against the heavens and trigger the heavenly punishment of a powerhouse to seal the sky and the earth. Chapter 1073. A dazzling divine light rose from the vast land of chaos. It was like a giant star that suppressed all life in the universe. It rushed to the top of the starry sky and it shook the universe's great Tao. From this moment on, the rulers of the countless clans and forces in the surrounding hundreds of large regions, hundreds of millions of miles away, were all terrified. After opening their heavenly eyes and looking into the distance, they were all speechless and filled with reverence. Who is it that attracted the heavenly punishment? Some people sighed, especially the half-step powerhouses. They had been chasing this goal for half their lives and still couldn't see through this secret realm. It seems to be in the direction of the reincarnation universe. Has the fight for the reincarnation fruit started? Could it be that the reincarnation universe was destroyed and caused all the powerhouses to fight for supremacy? At the critical moment, a half-step powerhouse broke through and wanted to attract the heavenly punishment to force back all the powerhouses and take the reincarnation fruit. Such a shocking change. The path to becoming a powerhouse is extremely difficult. But now, someone is trying to become a powerhouse. Isn't he afraid of the calamity? Undergoing the tribulation in a place where so many powerhouses gather is an extremely dangerous move. The birth of the heavenly punishment caused an uproar among the thousands of races in a land of chaos. Anyone could see that a heaven-defying fluctuation had awakened in the reincarnation universe. It attracted the killing intent of the universe's origin, and it spread out for hundreds of millions of miles. In the direction of the origin, a majestic figure had awakened. His aura swallowed a large region, and his blood essence surged like an ocean. The gathered powerhouses were scared silly. They trembled from the fear that came from their souls. They really felt that the universe was pressing down on them, suppressing the entire region and killing all life. Heavenly punishment. Everyone present felt their scalps go numb. The faces of the ancestral palace and the other races were extremely gloomy. Xiaoho's domineering appearance as a powerhouse had already shocked them. Now, another powerhouse had appeared in the burial region. The old leader of their race was an extreme powerhouse, and now another powerhouse had appeared. It was even the old powerhouse of the burial region, Xiaoho. How many years had it been? He had actually entered the realm of the Almighty, which shocked the races in the ancestral hall. Now, the buried region race had two Almighties and even a taboo. This race had been declining for a long time. Was it going to awaken in this era of the universe? However, while they were still in shock, they saw Yi Lingtian release his aura and break through in a heaven-defying manner. It made the experts of the ancestral hall feel as if they had eaten sh*t, f*ck. Another Almighty was born. How could such a ridiculous thing happen to the three Almighties? Did Big Brother Taboo come to your tribe to pave the way for the Divine King? There should be no more than 3 or 4 Almighties in the entire Daiyuo dynasty. But now, the declining clan of the burial region had completely ascended to the ranks of the Overlords. The clan already had 3 Almighties. But how could they explain the 2 almighty beings that had just been born in their clan in the past few years? It had only been 10 years. How'd they do it? Even in the Life Forbidden Zone, it was difficult for 2 Supreme Elders to be born in 10,000 years. But the Buried Region clan had accomplished this unimaginable feat. Could this be related to their taboo background? Ha 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 ha. Su Yin and the others laughed. Excitement spread through their hearts. It was hard to understand this emotion. After being suppressed for countless years, their clan had now released a terrifying glory in the universe. My clan has risen, Yuan roared. Recalling the tragic scene of powerhouses attacking the Milky Way galaxy in the past, Yuan cried out in excitement. After suffering, there was sweetness. Once Yi Lingtian completed his tribulation, there would be 3 supreme elders presiding over the Buried Region clan. They would be three-peak Supreme Elders. The significance of this was completely different. Universe Source Liquid. Suyin guessed that it was related to the Universe Source Liquid. After Tai Baokai returned in the past, the progenitor must have opened the Death Universe and taken away a great deal of the Universe Source Liquid. The rise of the Buried Region clan was indeed greatly related to the Universe Source Liquid. Moreover, it caused the combat strength of the Buried Region clan to soar by a large margin. Moreover, many of the old veterans had healed their accumulated injuries over the years. Their combat strength had skyrocketed, and there were several who had broken through to the Divine King realm. Of course, the most important thing wasn't the Universe Source Liquid, but the strongest trial ground in history. This was the most important thing. The strongest trial ground in history had nurtured them. The Buried Region clan had once collapsed and lost their foundation, but the strongest trial ground in history had given them a new foundation. In fact, Yi Ling Tian and the others were extremely talented. They had fought for hegemony their entire lives and had fought for thousands of years. They had completely emerged from the Earth domain, and their battle achievements were monstrous. They were also well prepared and grew in adversity. In the end, they obtained opportunities and stepped into the realm of Supreme Elders. This bunch of lunatics, Run. Too many people trembled in fear, and a large number of them began to flee. This was because a large region had been covered by heavenly punishment. The tribulation of a Supreme Elder affected a distance of hundreds of millions of miles. In the direction of the source of the tribulation, a vast sea of thunder and lightning formed. Dazzling lightning struck down one after another, thicker than a mountain. The lightning tribulation of a Supreme Elder was accompanied by the pressure of the universe's origin. All living beings in the universe had to bow down and worship. This was heavenly punishment, and it was difficult to resist. One had to respect it, or the universe's heavenly punishment would descend and kill them. A group of shameless powerhouses targeting the juniors of my clan. Today, I will destroy your body and soul. Xiao stepped forward and released his aura. His pores spewed out the light of hundreds of millions of blood essence. His aura was too frightening. When he awakened, it shook the heavens and the earth. One after another, powerhouses began to shatter in the process of fleeing. Among the dozens of terrifying leaders who had attacked the incomplete universe, 9 of them had fallen in an instant. They were directly obliterated by the Supreme Elder's law. The 9 old antiques died tragically on the spot. As for the dozen or so powerhouses who fled in fear, they were extremely weak under Xiao's giant palm. It was as if the bloody giant palm was pressing down from the heavens, covering the sky and the sun. It was boundlessly terrifying. You will suffer retribution. The Supreme Elder ignored the rules and attacked. My clan's Supreme Elder won't let you off. The powerhouses of the Nine Yang sect cried out miserably. They were like ants in front of the Supreme Elder. They couldn't resist and could only cry in despair. This was the killing of the Supreme Elder. It filled the space-time. Who could escape? The half-step Supreme Elder also began to tremble. His body was torn apart. Under this slap, a large number of powerhouses exploded and blood stained the sky. Ha ha! Xiao laughed angrily, shattering the bodies of his enemies. He looked cold and ruthless as he said in a domineering tone, "You scoundrels, targeting the younger generation of my clan. You should die. Leave no one alive. I will kill all of you." Well said. Kill. Yi Ling Tian rushed down. This scene was really frightening. The moment he rushed over, the trillions of tribulations moved with him. The universe source that could slaughter all life manifested itself as heavenly punishment. He pulled trillions of bolts of lightning as he rushed towards Qiu Boyan. Facing this vast tribulation of thunder, even Qiu Boyan panicked. "Inform my clan's Supreme Elder." Qiu Boyan lost control and shouted. He was already severely injured and couldn't resist this scene. Yi Ling Tian didn't even need to do anything. Just the Supreme Elder's thunder calamity was enough to eliminate him. This was a severely injured Supreme Elder. "Old thing, you're Supreme Elder. How dare you target my clan's immortal state powerhouse? If you don't die, the heavens won't forgive you. Yi Ling Tian roared. He was surrounded by billions of heavenly punishments as he attacked Qiu Boyan. He wanted to kill this severely injured Supreme Elder. Boom! The world went completely berserk. Billions of heavenly punishments fell and drowned Qiu Boyan. A bloody light bloomed between heaven and earth. The Supreme Elder's natural source was reviving. Everyone saw that Qiu Boyan was in a miserable state. His flesh was split open, and there was a bowl-sized bloody hole in his chest. Blood kept spurting out. He had to use his natural source energy to resist the power of heavenly punishment. Old thing, let's see how many times you can resist. I'll send you to hell. Yi Lingtian's words were cold. His body was like the furnace of the universe burning. He raised his fist and smashed forward, triggering the universe's heavenly punishments to descend. As for Xiaohou, he had already begun to sweep through the entire battlefield. He killed until rivers of blood flowed. Various areas were steaming with the blood of fallen experts. The entire great realm of life was wailing and trembling because of his attacks. Kill! Xiaohou's eyes were completely red. Now, Yi Lingtian's thunder calamity sealed off the entire area. Who would dare to attack? How could a Supreme Elder's tribulation be child's play? Even a Supreme Elder would have to consider the consequences of angering the universe's heavenly punishments. In short, this place was sealed off. Xiaohou's eyes were filled with killing intent. He was the terrifying leader of a generation who ran amok without any fear. He slaughtered the experts of the various races until they were all routed. Countless experts were killed. Are they crazy? Some young overlords were frightened, their legs trembling, attacking without regard for the consequences and slaughtering everyone with the power of Supreme Elder. Once such a tragedy happened, the Zhongyu clan would not be afraid of the world joining forces to kill them. Someone sneered. Can it compare to the crazy actions of 2 Supreme Elders and dozens of experts joining forces to kill Su Yin and the others? When this sentence was said, the battlefield fell silent. Some unrelated people gathered in the distance. Many people were sighing. The Zhongyu clan had really risen. The younger generation had Su Xianren overseeing it. The older generation had a Supreme Elder holding the fort. Su Xianren had even invited a taboo, causing the sealed heaven region to almost be wiped out. Now, Yi Lingtian's combat strength was tyrannical. Once he stepped into the realm of Supreme Elders, he would definitely be one of the best. However, from the way he was breaking through to the next realm, it could be seen that this person had accumulated an immeasurable foundation. The universe's mother liquid had given the Zhongyu clan an opportunity. The strongest trial ground had given them the foundation that they had once lost. Now they had it. Breaking through in adversity, their clan's fate erupted, reversing the decline of their clans. What did you say? The ancestral hall's Zhu Tian is dead? I say, Dao brothers, you can't speak carelessly. If the ancestral hall's experts hear it, they might cause trouble for you. At this time, a group of experts from distant regions came to watch the ceremony. It would be beneficial for them to break through to the next realm. However, as soon as they arrived, they heard a single sentence and were all stunned. They might not know the background of Ma Iliang and the other young overlords, but they knew who the invincible Zhu Tian of the Ancestral Hall was in every era of the universe. He was a true genius, an undefeated legend, a legend of his generation. He belonged to the Ancestral Hall's pride and glory. However, they had just received news that Zhu Tian seemed to be dead. Chapter 1074. These people did not know how to answer him. It was not just Zhu Tian. The fate of the Dao Temple's heaven-suppressing battle god and Sun Dome of the Nine Yang sect was unknown. The North Demon of the Demon Territory was also killed. Which one of them wasn't a true god's favored one? Which one of them wasn't a peerless genius? Which one of them wasn't a potential almighty? However, one after another, they were all buried in the samsara universe. You're not joking, right? Those who came to watch the ceremony were scared. They stammered. These people are dead? The heaven-sealing 10 heroes are also dead. The reincarnation universe's attack on Su Xianren resulted in a near-total annihilation. Are they all dead? Someone sighed. If not for the imminent collapse of the reincarnation universe and the Han family's heaven-suppressing stone, perhaps none of the others would have survived. These older generation experts could not forget Su Xianren's madness and his overbearing battle strength. He even used one qi into 3 pure ones. 2 Zhu Tians joined forces to attack Su Yan. In the end, Su Yan killed 2 Zhu Tians in a row. How is this possible? Those who came trembled in disbelief. This was a bloody incident that shocked the entire universe. A universe secret realm that was about to disappear had lost so many young paragons. Legends and demonic paragons were buried. They had goosebumps all over their bodies. They came to watch the ceremony, but ended up hearing about such a bloody incident. Even now, Yiling Tian had thrown Qiu Boyan into the universe's divine punishment, igniting a frenzy. This was to kill a mighty being. Moreover, their battle was deep into the universe's divine punishment. Who would dare to interfere in this battle? If not for the Dao Temple's old antique in Dao City, who left after seeing the situation was not right, this mighty being would have been swept into the universe's divine punishment. Some people's gazes landed on Dao City. After all, Dao City was the #1 city in the universe, and there were businesses belonging to various powerful races. No matter how crazy Xiahou and the others were, they couldn't possibly kill their way into the city. Once they did, the buried region race would become the public enemy of the entire universe. The people who came sucked in a cold breath of air, their eyes filled with shock. Someone said with amazement, "It really is crazy. Too many people have died. Blood has dyed the great region red. The burial region's clan is too crazy, slaughtering who knows how many experts." Since ancient times, the mighty figures did not appear and did not participate in the struggle of the younger generation. After all, in the eyes of a mighty figure, as long as one wasn't a mighty figure, they were all ants. It was extremely rare for a mighty figure to massacre all living beings. But now, Xiahou had completely gone mad from killing. His hands were stained with the blood of his enemies. "You will suffer retribution." Too many experts screamed miserably as they fled, nursing a grievance in the face of Xiahou's furious killing intent. The vast space-time was turbulent, and one after another, great cosmic cracks appeared. Xiahou, this seemingly supreme figure, stood atop a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. His cold eyes had already locked onto the dozen or so elders of the Ancestral Hall who were wielding the Sky Splitter sword and were trying to flee. "Do you think you can escape?" Xiahou's entire body emitted a terrifying stench of blood. From far away, he let out a loud roar, and a mountain range in the distance collapsed. The dozen or so elders of the Ancestral Hall trembled, and several of them died on the spot, their bodies exploding. The strength of a mighty being was unimaginable. Before he even arrived, a supreme pressure swept over, causing these elders of the Ancestral Hall to tremble in fear. They immediately joined forces to revive the Sky Splitter sword in order to block Xiahou's attack. "In the past, you bullied the juniors of my clan. Now, I'll let you have a taste of this despair, this pain, and this unease." Xiahou's grayish-white hair danced in the wind. His figure was tall, and his aura swallowed the starry sky. His words were like law, and the light of order that filled the sky suddenly pressed down. It was as if the sky was collapsing, and it shattered the sword light that flew out from the Sky Splitter sword. The mighty being's aura was as deep as the sea, and when it pressed down, it suppressed the elders of the Ancestral Hall. Their hair stood on end, and their hearts were filled with fear. They knew very well that they could not escape now, because this vast space-time had been covered by the mighty being's heavenly punishment. Yiling Tian's method of sealing heaven and earth was enough to deter the mighty beings of the various clans who had participated in this. "No!" The half-step mighty being screamed because Xiahou had already rushed over. The supreme pressure caused them to tremble, and they could not help but kneel on the ground. Their knees even cracked. The sky splitter sword dimmed. So what if it was a supreme, great Tao sacred weapon? Facing a mighty being like Xiaoho, as long as no one from the ancestral hall activated the sky splitter sword, they could not block Xiaoho's shocking combat strength. In the past, you regarded my clan as prey, and you killed without restraint. Today, I'll let you have a taste of this bitter fruit. How could Xiaoho's body not be surging with anger and killing intent? He had participated in countless bloody battles, and he had seen countless men die in front of him in pools of blood, but he was powerless to do anything. Now, Xiaoho had returned like a king, and his roar shook the entire world. He killed one ancestral hall expert after another with his roar. This was a terrifying aura that swept through the entire area. The rage of a mighty being caused millions of corpses to fall. People saw a mighty being go crazy, slaughtering the entire area until the heavens collapsed and gods cried. The world was plunged into the color of blood, and the gods trembled in fear. It was the end of the world, and Xiaoho's might intimidated the world. This was an unparalleled majesty, an unparalleled divine might that could not be blasphemed. It was like a vast and mighty river of stars, and it made all the races in the universe silent. It was equivalent to tacit agreement. A peak race that had once declined was slowly rising. Roar! On the other side, a great battle was raging. Yiling Tian was fighting Qiu Boyan. Qiu Boyan was also completely crazy, and he was risking his life. He burned the vast life source in his body and fought Yiling Tian. I'm going to kill a mighty being to prove my Tao. This was Yiling Tian's spiritual will. Blood essence surged, and he became braver and crazier as he fought. After all, he was facing a former mighty being, and the two fought to the death. The world was stained with blood, and it was suppressed by the universe's heavenly punishment. Both were coughing up blood. This was a close combat, and there were no fancy moves. It was completely a head-on clash. They fought from the top of the sky to the blood-stained earth. From a distant world, they fought their way into the reincarnation universe. Each bloody battle left behind a world riddled with holes. In the end, the giant Yiling Tian was covered in blood. There were more than a dozen wounds on his body, and his bones could be seen. However, Qiu Boyan's face was as white as a sheet. His foundation was getting weaker and weaker, and he could not hold on any longer. He could not fight Yiling Tian at all. He's really going to kill a mighty being. As far as I know, this divine king Yiling Tian used to be called Yiling Tian. He was the strongest of his generation in the burial realm. His divine power was vast, and the divine king could be considered a peak existence in his domain. He was once a peerless genius, and now he's going against the natural order to attack the mighty being's path. It's clear how heaven-defying he is. Someone made an evaluation of him. One could see that a corner of the universe was wailing, drowned by the terrifying blood essence in his body. The entire body was steaming with the blurry light of order, and it was almost evolving into the real order of the universe. At this moment, Yiling Tian was like a dragon that controlled billions of blood essence. He descended from the sky and unleashed a devastating attack on Qiu Boyan. Boom! Time and space exploded, and the huge black crack was endless. The sky was filled with divine energy, and it was like a cosmic tsunami had sunk the world. The vast domain was trembling, and it affected dozens of large domains. Everyone could see Yiling Tian's glory and prosperity at this moment. No, Qiu Boyan was screaming and trembling. He really felt that he was going to die. Wong. Suddenly, just when everyone thought that Qiu Boyan was dead, four black heaven-suppressing stones descended from the sky, releasing a magnificent domain. It was as if four black dragons had come to life, and they had evolved a heaven-suppressing domain, forcibly stopping the cosmic heavenly punishment. Han family. Su Yan's eyes were filled with killing intent. The mighty being of the Han family was definitely hiding in the dark, and he had to protect Qiu Boyan at this critical moment. The Han family's mighty being was very clear that once Qiu Boyan died, the sealing heaven domain's foundation would be greatly damaged. They would have to be more cautious in the future, and perhaps the burial realm would make a move against the Han family. Therefore, he had to protect Xiao Boyan. The four heaven-suppressing stones were truly terrifying. They suppressed the cosmic heavenly punishment's energy, reducing the pressure on Xiao Boyan. His whole body broke free. After all, he was still a mighty being. Without the suppression of the cosmic heavenly punishment, his figure became blurry as he crossed through time and space to escape the battlefield. Slash! A loud roar filled the entire place, shaking the primordial spirits of all spirits. In the distant world, a brilliant sword radiance gushed out. Xiahou was like a great god who had slashed the heavens. He brandished the heaven-cleaving sword, and this peerless mighty being's holy weapon had been revived. It gushed out a heaven-cleaving power that could slaughter billions of creatures. This was a peerless holy weapon of the great Tao. It was powerful beyond compare, and its killing intent was boundless. This sword radiance was terrifying. It rushed over and tore a huge crack 1,000,000 miles long. This sword reached the heavens, capable of cleaving all things. The moment the sword radiance attacked, the four heaven-suppressing stones that suppressed the cosmic heavenly punishment began to tremble, as if they were about to explode. The whole place was in an uproar. Would the heaven-suppressing stones really be destroyed? At the critical moment, people saw a shadow sweep out from the dark. With a sleeve, he swept away the heaven-suppressing stones and disappeared without a trace. Of course, this sword strike missed. However, Yiling Tian descended from the sky. Billions of qi and blood dragons filled the entire region, penetrating all space and time. No! Xiao Boyan screamed. Faced with the suppression of billions of qi and blood dragons, the mighty being's body was torn apart. In the end, it could not bear it and began to explode. Roar! Yiling Tian let out a loud roar. After slaughtering a mighty being, his essence, qi, and spirit soared. He was like a terrifying demon lord, his roar shaking the heavens. Yiling Tian's chest rose and fell violently. In an instant, he swallowed all the divine essence that leaked out of Xiao Boyan's body and turned it into his own body. Roar! Yiling Tian let out a second roar, his aura terrifying. His roar shook the entire cosmic heavenly punishment, causing a corner of the universe to collapse. He was truly like a mighty being, reversing his combat power and killing his way to the top. He was a mighty being who had proven his Tao. Is he going to succeed? The spectators did not care about anything else. They stared at Yiling Tian, wanting to see how powerful he was. They wanted to see the grand feat of a half-step mighty being breaking through to become a mighty being. Strike while the iron is hot. Visit the Han family as guests. I prepared a big gift for them. Yiling Tian calmed down in an instant. The qi and blood in his body surged, and he did something that shocked the world. He rode the cosmic heavenly punishment. It was as if he was carrying the cosmic heavenly punishment. His figure traversed the universe. His figure was magnificent, and he cut through the sky. Everyone was dumbfounded. Did they hear wrongly? What was he doing? He was going to bring the cosmic heavenly punishment to the Han family as guests. As for the gift, was it the terrifying cosmic heavenly punishment? Chapter 1075. 2 consecutive roars shook the universe's starry skies, shattering the stars in the sky and causing the entire universe's heavenly punishment to tremble. At this moment, Yiling Tian's might was unparalleled. He was like a terrifying giant who had killed Xiao Boyan and swallowed the source of life that leaked out of his body. The source of life of a supreme being had penetrated his body, causing Yiling Tian's aura to soar endlessly. Even the universe could not suppress his elegance. Even the vast universe's heavenly punishment was trembling. This was a heaven-defying might that rose from the ground, piercing through the heavens and impacting the universe. Endless rumbles were heard. The path to becoming a supreme being had been opened. But at this critical moment, Yiling Tian suppressed the thought of breaking through with great boldness. He carried the universe's heavenly punishment and left behind a shocking statement before disappearing from the eyes of the world. This dilapidated world was filled with the stench of blood. Those who remained were all dumbfounded. It was very likely that they had recovered from the shock. Even the big shots of various races were in a daze. They felt as if they had gone deaf and could not hear the previous words. In the end, someone was terrified. His entire body trembled and his hair stood on end. His words were somewhat strange. Carrying the universe's heavenly punishment. Go to the Han family as a guest. The whole scene was in an uproar. Many people were beginning to doubt their lives. They originally thought that Su Xianren was crazy enough, but they did not expect that Yiling Tian, who was even crazier than Su Xianren, would carry the universe's heavenly punishment to the Han family to transcend the tribulation. Something big is about to happen. The buried region race is going to stand up for Su Yin and settle the score with the Han family. Countless exclamations were heard. The whole world was in an uproar. A supreme being with ferocious combat strength had killed a supreme being and swallowed the source of life that leaked out of his body. He was breaking through in a heaven-defying manner. His combat strength was peerless, and he was about to tear apart a corner of the universe. Now, he was carrying the universe's heavenly punishment to go to the Han family to transcend the tribulation. It's really frightening. Luo Tian was stunned. His legs were trembling. What kind of race was the Han family? It was a force that had existed for millions of years. It was the ancestor of the Mystic Gate. It had an extremely high status in the primal chaos ruins. It was an ancient aristocratic family that was above the top clans. The Han family had once been extremely glorious. They had produced powerful figures and grade 8 great-grandmasters. They had once been treated as guests of honor by various major powers. Traces of the Han family could be found in almost all of the universe's secret realms in the Chaos Ruins. The Han family had been glorious since ancient times. Even now, the Han family was still outstanding. The clan's foundation couldn't be ignored. But now, a terrifying leader of a clan from the burial realm wanted to go to the Han family to receive a heavenly punishment. Let's go. Finally, someone reacted. Many important figures joined hands to cut open the space-time tunnel and rush towards the Han family. This was a shocking event, possibly related to the decline of a former Overlord power. Once it happened, it would shake the entire universe. Such a tragic event had never happened before in this universe era. The world was in chaos, and everyone was in a state of panic. A large number of powerhouses crossed the borders of the Great Domains. However, the Great Domains they were rushing towards were also in chaos. Just a moment ago, a terrifying aura pressed down like an ocean. It was as if the end of the universe had arrived. The vast energy of the universe's great Tao suppressed the entire Great Domain, causing trillions of life forms to panic and feel uneasy. They didn't even know what had happened. That aura had already disappeared. Finally, they found out the truth. One great domain after another was thrown into chaos. The news spread everywhere, causing the entire world to go crazy. There were even some clan leaders who shouted, "The heavens have opened their eyes." The Han family has finally met their match. First, Su Xianren set up a trap and killed 3 half-step powerhouses of the Han family. He even destroyed the clan's mountain-protecting array. Now, there is a powerhouse who can traverse billions of miles. I think the Han family's destruction is imminent. Kill the Han family. Take revenge. Beat them while they're down. Back then, the Han family bullied our clan because we didn't have any powerhouses. They took over the universe's secret realms that our clan controlled and caused us to suffer heavy losses. The 76th generation ancestor died without a complete corpse. This is a blood feud that must be avenged. Now, everyone, listen to my orders. Kill our clan's universe secret realms and take them back to comfort our ancestors. Kill. Exterminate the Han family. There were at least a dozen ancient clans that were emitting cold, murderous intents. Their entire clan was emitting murderous intent. They had a feud with the Han family. However, the Han family had been strong since ancient times. These clans didn't even have the chance to take revenge. They had even been bullied by the Han family generation after generation. Now, the Han family was in big trouble. These clans wanted revenge. The Han family had a huge business. Just the Han family alone had over 100 resource secret realms in the outside world. The Han family even secretly controlled 3 secret realms. Be careful of the spread of the news, spreading throughout the chaos ruins. In one night, the universe was in chaos. Gods and demons danced wildly. Ancient powerhouses that had been in hibernation all came out to fight for the Han family's secret realms. There were many cases of people looting a burning house. Back then, the sealed heaven region was exactly like this. However, with the Han family's power, it wasn't enough to attract the attention of the powerhouses. However, when some of the universe mercenary groups heard about this, they couldn't sit still. Very quickly, more than a dozen universe mercenary group leaders gathered in secret. They were going to do something big. Back then, we didn't dare to go to the sealed heaven region. However, the Han family was already done for. According to what I know, a powerhouse and a ruthless person carried the universe's punishment to the Han family. Back then, the Han family's protection array was broken by Grandpa Taboo. That item fell into the hands of Su Xianren. The Han family had already lost the trump card that they were so proud of. Damn, let's do something big. I know the whereabouts of more than a dozen godly or veins in the Han family. I know that the Han family has 2 large mountains. There are also several stalks of sacred herbs. If we can pick them, they can extend our lifespan by several hundred years. These things are enough for us to eat. Let's join forces and take down these resource secret realms. The Han family's ancestral land is facing a great calamity. They won't be able to take care of us. More than a dozen universe mercenary group leaders gathered together to plot. As they talked, their blood boiled. Some of them even roared, "There's no time to lose. Let's attack now. This will be enough for us to enjoy the rest of our lives." The Chaos Land was swept up in a bloody storm. In the sealed heaven region, the entire race was furious. Another powerhouse had fallen. Within a year, the sealed heaven region had lost a total of 6 powerhouses. Even the sealed heaven 10 heroes had died at the hands of Su Xianren. This caused the entire sealed heaven region to be furious. How can we not take revenge for such a great enmity? Su Xianren, we must kill him. We must kill him. They roared like mad demons. They were really anxious. The dignified life Forbidden Zone had suffered a great loss because of a heavenly god junior. Its foundation was less than half of its peak. If this continued, the name of the life Forbidden Zone would be rewritten. The entire sealed heaven region radiated killing intent, surging between heaven and earth. However, this place was too far away from the Han family. The sealed heaven region had also lost much of its foundation. It was extremely difficult to cross over in a short period of time. An old ancestor of the sealed heaven region stood out and urgently called for an army. The Han family wouldn't be destroyed in a short period of time. As long as they rushed over, this battle could still be reversed. Who's crazy enough to withstand the heavenly punishment of a powerhouse and cross over to a large region? What's he doing? One large region after another was shaken. Yi Lingtian's actions were too crazy. It shocked all the races in the universe. This was a cosmic heavenly punishment passing through. During the process, this cosmic heavenly punishment became stronger and stronger, forming a world-destroying storm. There won't be an accident, right? Su Yin and the others were somewhat worried. They discovered that the cosmic heavenly punishment had swallowed up the cosmic energy of a large region as it crossed over, causing the cosmic heavenly punishment to become even stronger. Xiao's expression was solemn. The danger had definitely increased. However, Yiling Tian had swallowed Qiu Boyan's divine power, causing his foundation to soar. He could still withstand it for a short period of time. Of course, this would make the cosmic heavenly punishment even stronger. However, the stronger the cosmic heavenly punishment was, the heavier the blow to the Han family would be. This clan that had been passed down for millions of years couldn't be destroyed so easily. Even if another powerhouse came, there was no guarantee that they would be able to overturn the entire Han family. But now that a powerhouse's cosmic heavenly punishment had descended, the chances of destroying the Han family were high. Xiahou led Su Yin and the others across the border entailed the cosmic heavenly punishment. Now they were getting closer and closer to the Han family. As for this cosmic heavenly punishment, it had already reached the peak of its magnificence. Countless bolts of lightning were constantly falling down, forming a world-destroying scene. The energy fluctuations rippling out from the light had already affected the Han family. The Han family's territory occupied dozens of large regions. They were the hegemons of a region. In the ancestral land of the Han family, a large number of old powerhouses had already awakened. They were puzzled as they sensed an extremely terrifying cosmic heavenly punishment energy, causing them to be somewhat flustered. A treasured mirror was brought out from the ancestral land, illuminating thousands of miles of territory. When the treasured mirror displayed the scene of billions of bolts of lightning descending, the expressions of the Han family's powerhouses changed. This is a powerhouse's cosmic heavenly punishment. How can it be so strong? It's much stronger than the heavenly punishment of a powerhouse I witnessed 1,000 years ago. Which clan's powerhouse is undergoing this tribulation? How lucky! I wonder which clan has given birth to such a powerful expert. There were also some Han family powerhouses whose eyes were filled with jealousy. Their Han family hadn't given birth to a powerhouse for an entire universe era. If this situation continued, the Han family would truly decline. Who cares? It has nothing to do with us. A Han family powerhouse said expectantly. The old ancestor went to the reincarnation universe and took away the family's 4 great heaven-suppressing stones. I wonder if he killed Su Yin, that evil spawn. Su Yin definitely won't be able to survive. The reincarnation universe has been sealed, especially with the young overlords working together to deal with him. He won't be able to walk out alive. I hope the old ancestor can obtain the reincarnation fruit. If the old ancestor can live another generation, our clan will have a powerhouse overseeing it. I hope the old ancestor's trip will be smooth. After all, the old ancestor of their clan originated from the previous universe era. Although he had lived until now, it was extremely difficult for him to come out. Ever since the matter of the reincarnation fruit was leaked, the powerhouse overseeing the Han family went out for the first time in this universe era to seek fortune. If he succeeded, the Han family's glory would continue for eternity. Look over there. All of a sudden, a group of elders gathered in the Han family ancestral land had a change in expression. Someone exclaimed, "This universe heaven's punishment is moving. It's already near our Han family's territory." No. It's already within our Han family's territory. Bastard. The expressions of the powerhouses changed greatly. Someone directly roared, "Who is so daring?" Even if our Han family is declining, it's not something a powerhouse can humiliate. Now, he actually came to our doorstep to undergo his tribulation. Isn't this too much? A powerhouse was undergoing his tribulation in the Han family's territory. This was a naked provocation, causing the group of old powerhouses of the Han family to curse furiously. Once a powerhouse completed his tribulation, he would have to devour the essence of the universe's mountains and rivers to gather the supreme power of the powerhouse. Once he did so, it would definitely cause the Han family's territory to suffer a great loss of heaven and earth essence. This was a loss that couldn't be recovered even after hundreds of years. Elders, did our family give birth to a powerhouse? At this moment, some of the high-ranking juniors of the Han family walked over excitedly. Could it be that the Han family was about to give birth to a second powerhouse? Their words made the group of elders so angry that their noses were about to become crooked. After learning the truth, the group of juniors of the Han family became furious and roared uncontrollably. "This is too much. We should use our family's treasure to interrupt his tribulation." That's right. Does he think our Han family is easy to bully? We have powerhouses in our family. Tribulation? Let him undergo his tribulation first. We must kill him. The group of juniors of the Han family were furious. Had the times changed? Everyone dared to humiliate the Han family. Undergoing tribulation in their own territory was a great humiliation. I think he's a rogue cultivator. A powerhouse expressed his opinion. If he's a powerhouse from a big family, he should have a blessed land. There should be a blessed enclave to provide him with the divine power of heaven and earth after his breakthrough. However, since he is undergoing the tribulation here, it means that he lacks such a foundation. Chapter 1076. A group of Han family elders were having a heated discussion as they discussed countermeasures. Su Yin and the others had also arrived at the territory ruled by the Han family. Each of the large regions was filled with outstanding heroes and had abundant heaven and earth essence chi. It was extremely suitable for cultivators to cultivate and also suitable for sects to establish their own sections. What a Han family! Their methods are truly heaven-defying. Su Yin opened his heaven and earth eye and looked at the territory ruled by the Han family. He could see the chi of life leaking out from the large regions in all directions. It was being guided by a supreme force of heaven and earth and finally flowed towards the Han family's ancestral land. The Han family's ancestral land occupied an entire region of life. The surrounding large regions had their chi of life stolen by the Han family. This led to the Han family's boundless chi of life. It could be said that it had seized the fortune of heaven and earth and gradually became a holy land for cultivation. The Han family's large region was filled with auspicious clouds and purple chi. The chi of life was as vigorous as a dragon. It was a holy land for cultivation that all cultivators yearn for. The universe's heavenly punishment is passing through. The large regions were in an uproar. Many sect masters were trembling in fear as they saw the universe's heavenly punishment pressing down and destroying the large regions. They were truly in despair. This was a natural disaster that could not be stopped. However, in their moment of despair, they discovered that the universe's heavenly punishment had disappeared and was crossing into the distance. Its destination seemed to be the Han family's holy land. Now, a group of Han family elders were having a heated discussion. They could not come to a conclusion, but their voices were getting weaker and weaker. They had vaguely discovered a frightening event. The universe's heavenly punishment was getting closer and closer to the Han family's ancestral land. Within the vast expanse of lightning, the sound of thunder had already reached the Han family's ancestral land. It was so loud that many clansmen's eyes darkened, and they were trembling in fear. Boom! The deafening sound of thunder filled the sky. Amidst it, there was a giant with a terrifying aura. He endured the universe's heavenly punishment and charged directly towards the Han family's ancestral land. This scene shocked the experts of the surrounding large regions. They were under the jurisdiction of the Han family and had to pay tribute every year. In the eyes of these clans, the Han family was the royal family. They ruled over millions of territories and intimidated the world. But now, billions of heavenly punishments were descending upon the sacred land in their hearts. It seemed that there were experts who were determined to die together with the Han family. This is bad. The 10 or so elders of the Han family nearly wet their pants in fright. This terrifying heavenly punishment had already arrived, and its target was the ancestral home of the Han family. The universe's heavenly punishment covered the sky. It was peerlessly terrifying and intimidated billions of creatures. Unparalleled cosmic origin energy transformed into a killing force that covered the entire sacred land. Under the fearful eyes of the world, millions of lightning bolts drowned out the universe and created countless black cracks. The origin of destruction descended and directly smashed into the gate of the Han family's ancestral land. Oh my God! Cries of alarm sounded from a surrounding several dozen great regions. The rulers of various clans had lost control. Was the heavens collapsing? Was the Han family going to be finished? There was actually an expert who was transcending the heavenly punishment of a mighty figure, and it even directly smashed onto the gates of the Han family's ancestral court. Especially now, Large numbers of experts from the surrounding great regions had arrived to watch the battle. The scene before their eyes made them feel as if their hearts and livers were being torn apart. There was also news that spread, shaking the entire world. It's an expert from the Burial Region clan. The Burial Region clan has a taboo, Overlord. Now, there's a mighty figure and an expert who transcends the heavenly punishment of a mighty figure. They are attacking the Han family from the reincarnation universe. They want to destroy the entire Han family. This is too crazy. The Burial Region clan's experts are standing up for serene and the others. They directly sent two terrifying leaders to overturn the entire Han family. This is a terrifying matter. Has the clan gone crazy? They want to destroy the Han family's orthodoxy. Do you know how many clans they will attract? The deities trembled. Wasn't this action a bit too ruthless? At the slightest provocation, they brought the heavenly punishment of a mighty figure, crossing billions of miles to destroy the Han family. In fact, this was the most terrifying attack the Burial Region clan had ever made in their long years of decline. It was not inferior to the magnificent feat of the old leader who had slaughtered his way into the ancestral court. Now, the entire gate of the Han family's ancestral court was submerged in millions of lightning bolts. Who is transcending tribulation? The Han family that had 1,000,000 years of inheritance were all dumbfounded at this moment. Many people who were in seclusion were shocked. Some people even went crazy. Because the momentum was too fierce, millions of thunderclaps exploded, tearing apart their eardrums. Even with the great gate of the ancestral land isolating them, there was still a heaven-shaking divine sound that spread through the entire region. Many Tao comprehending cultivators were destroyed in body and soul. This was because in the process of comprehending the Tao, their bodies were crushed by the terrifying great Tao strength and exploded. The entire Han family's ancestral land flowed with rivers of blood. It was incomparably tragic. Someone is transcending tribulation at the gate of our Han family's ancestral land, and they are even attacking the gate. Everyone lost control. Their eyes were about to pop out of their sockets as they roared hysterically. All this time, it had been their Han family that stood high above, looking down on all the clans of the world. But now, someone dared to attack their Han family's ancestral land, and even directly use the universe's heavenly punishment to shake the ancestral land. This was a naked humiliation, causing the entire Han family to be enraged. Who is so bold? Our Han family has been established for millions of years, and we have never suffered such a great humiliation. Just as the Han family was about to go crazy with anger, the entire grand realm of life, the holy land of cultivation, began to tremble. Countless black fissures appeared. Mountains collapsed and rivers and seas collapsed, pouring into the fissures. For a time, a small portion of the Han family's ancestral land had completely sunk. Countless palaces, ancient sacred mountains, and land of inheritance crumbled and disintegrated. A large number of cultivators fell into the cracks. The heavens were shaking, and the earth was trembling. Ghosts wept and gods howled. The gods of the Han family were terrified as they saw the gate of the Han family's ancestral land. This was a giant golden gate, but the dense patterns of order were broken. Moreover, the entire gate was torn apart. Boom! At this time, the sound of thunder exploded. The universe's heavenly punishment was vast and mighty, tearing apart the giant gate. No less than 1,000,000,000,000 bolts of lightning struck in, destroying the boundless territory. Almighty heavenly punishment. The gods trembled, and they were incomparably mournful. Who is it? Who is transcending the tribulation at the gate of our Han family's ancestral land? Who is it? They were about to go crazy. The mountain protection formation that the Han family was so proud of was already finished. It had long been snatched away by serene. The gate that the Almighty had painstakingly built couldn't withstand the barbaric impact of the universe's heavenly punishment. Karma cycle. Suddenly, a figure with a blazing aura forced his way in. He stepped out of the shattered spatial crack and shouted coldly, "Back when I was in the great Tao realm, Your Han family's divine king came to kill me, forcing me into a desperate situation. Now, I will let your Han family have a taste of the bitter fruit." Su Yan's voice was loud and clear, resounding in the Han family's ancestral land, spreading to everyone's ears. "Su Xianren, it's you. It's actually you. You're so ruthless, so ruthless." The group of Han family elders roared, their eyes red. No matter how they thought about it, they couldn't imagine that it was Su Yan who brought people here to transcend the tribulation at the gate of their ancestral land. "Ha ha, how ruthless. No matter how ruthless I am, how can I compare to the viciousness of your Han family?" Su Yan glared at them and said coldly, "You've attacked me time and time again, wanting to kill me. Now that the cycle of reincarnation has begun, the end of your Han family has arrived." The entire Han family was incomparably furious. Some were also shocked. Why was it like this? Wasn't Su Yan trapped in the reincarnation universe? How did he come out? What happened in the reincarnation universe? Boom! Earth-shattering thunder suppressed the anger of the Han family. The might of Yi Lingtian's tribulation grew stronger and stronger. The universe's great Tao slashed down, tearing apart this unique domain of life, drawing down boundless lightning that struck between the mountains and the earth. In a short period of time, tens of thousands of mountains collapsed and palaces collapsed. A large number of cultivators also exploded. This was a natural disaster, the power of the universe's heavenly punishment, enough to pose a threat to mighty figures. It struck down boundlessly. This scene was enough to make the Han family despair. What foundation? Now, in the face of the universe's heavenly punishment, all of it had lost its value. This was a heavenly disaster, striking down violently and erasing everything. The world was being beaten until it was wailing. No one has ever dared to bully our Han family like this. Su Yan, you will pay for this with your blood. An elder of the Han family roared angrily. In the depths of the ancestral land, a dormant divine aura had awakened. At least 3 or 4 great Tao divine weapons had been unsealed. They were going to kill their way out and split apart the heavenly punishment. If this continued, the Han family's ancestral land would be completely destroyed, and the world would have one less pure land for cultivation. I, Su Yan, am here. Cultivators of the same generation, do you dare to come and fight? Su Yan's expression was cold. An invincible war god of generation looked down on the entire Han family like a ruler descending upon the world. These words made the younger generation of the Han family fall silent. The Master Realm Master was smashed by Su Yan with one fist. Who dared to fight him in the same generation? Even if they mustered up the courage to charge up, they would just be asking to be humiliated. Little bastard. Suddenly, the Divine King released his aura. The space in front of Su Yan exploded. A Divine King expert pounced over and said viciously, "You insulted my Han family. I will kill you first, and then I will kill your entire family." This Divine King had a terrifying aura. The moment he attacked, he burned the Divine King's source. He wanted to kill Su Yan in one move. So what if the Divine King is here? Let your race's gods come out and fight with me. Su Yan's eyes opened wide in rage. He raised his head and roared. His sleeping essence blood burned brightly like a heavenly furnace. It was a shocking scene. Su Yan's roar shook the Han family's ancestral land. Golden ripples surged into the sky, and the power of gods and demons was released. One roar shattered mountains and rivers. The Divine King who sneak attacked Su Yan was terrified. The sky full of golden ripples struck down like a million golden mountains pressing down on his body. The Divine King of the Han family cried out in pain. He couldn't take it. Blood flowed from his mouth and nose, and he couldn't stand steadily. Much of the Divine King's source was scattered. "I want you to die." This Divine King was furious. His source power flowed in reverse. The Divine King's domain burned. He wanted to charge over and kill Su Yan. Boom! Su Yan's eyes overflowed with killing intent. As his chest rose and fell, the surroundings rumbled. The sun and moon lost their light. Even the great Tao collapsed. Su Yin was like a great demon god awakening. His chest roared like the mountains and seas, shaking heaven and earth. The heroes of the Han family trembled. Was this still a young man? He was simply a humanoid dragon. Kill! Su Yan's roar was so loud that the mountains crumbled and the seas roared. The gods felt like their livers were being torn apart as they saw Su Yan's black hair fluttering in the wind. With another roar, the Han family's deity king's mortal body was torn apart. Under Su Yan's roar, the Han family's divine king despaired. He couldn't take it anymore. His body finally collapsed and exploded into a mass of bloody light. Who dares to come out and fight with me? Su Yin looked down on the entire Han family. He emitted boundless essence energy and suppressed the Han family's younger generation. No one dared to fight him. Chapter 1077. A single roar could shatter mountains and rivers. Peerless divine power overflowed in all directions. Su Yin stood tall in the Han family's ancestral land. Above his head, divine light shone brightly. He was like a great demonic god in the sky. His divine might was incomparable, suppressing the divine realm experts. That's Su Xianren. The spectators felt their scalps go numb. They lost control and said, "He killed the divine king with a roar." Oh my god, Su Xianren killed the divine king with a roar. What kind of opportunity did he get in the reincarnation universe? He could actually kill a divine king with a roar. The divine king was killed by a roar. Could it be that Su Xianren has cultivated to the peak of the divine king realm? Many sect masters were scared stiff. Was this still a youngster? How could he break through like a demon king? His aura was too domineering. Although they knew that Su Yin had a human-shaped puppet that could unleash the power of a divine king, it couldn't be so ridiculous as to kill a divine king with a roar, right? In fact, ever since Su Yin stepped into the heavenly god realm and perfected his path of invincibility, he discovered that when he merged with the humanoid puppet, he could unleash the limits of a humanoid puppet's combat strength at the God King realm. It was even more powerful than when he fought Xiaoming back then. Su Yin was now a peak divine king. This was the power that the human-shaped puppet had bestowed on Su Yin. His combat power was terrifying beyond compare. Although it was an external force, it was still a power that Su Yin could control. Who dares to fight with me? Su Yan's hair danced in the wind. Killing light shot out from his eyes. He walked with majestic steps and shouted coldly at the Han family's ancestral land. In the past, your Han family bullied me. Now that I'm here, who dares to stand out and fight with me? Who dares to stand out and fight with me? A tyrannical voice resounded throughout the entire Han family's ancestral land, reverberating in everyone's ears. Su Yin had been oppressed for too long, and now two almighty characters from the tribes had stood up for him. Su Yan's emotions surged as the blood in his body boiled and ignited, emitting a will that could overturn the Han family. However, the entire younger generation of the Han family was trembling in fear. No one dared to stand out. With a single roar, the divine king was already dead. Who would dare to go? Even if their Han family had the young divine king, they still wouldn't be able to compete with Su Yin. The might of this roar had completely shattered the fighting spirit of the younger generation of the Han family. They were all suppressed by one person to the point that they couldn't even raise their heads. Su Xianren has really become an overlord. Some people in the outside world sighed. Every dog had its day. Su Xianren had indeed been oppressed by the Han family. Now that he had ascended the mountain, no one dared to stand out and fight with Su Yin. Su Yin, you're too arrogant. An old divine king expert stood out and shouted angrily. You're just relying on the divine king's puppet. You're just a heavenly god. What are you pretending for? Even if my Han family is destroyed today, it won't be because of you. You're just a piece of trash that relies on the tribe's experts. You. Su Yin pointed at the old expert who had shouted at him and said coldly, stand out and fight with me. I don't need the puppet. I can still kill you with my heavenly god realm cultivation. This old man will kill you, you arrogant brat. The old Divine King expert was so angry that he was about to explode. He didn't care about anything else. If he couldn't keep Su Yin in check, what hope did the Han family have? The younger generation of the tribe couldn't even raise their heads after being suppressed by one person. Even if they could survive this calamity, their Han family would be finished. Kill. This Divine King expert released his strongest Divine King energy to kill Su Yin. He used a great ability right from the start. Using the power of the Divine King's domain, he formed a giant hand of the Divine King and rushed towards Su Yin. The giant hand covered the sky and cut through the dome of heaven. It came down with enough power to destroy the world. Su Yin stepped on the desolate land. His long robes fluttered loudly in the wind. Facing this Divine King's giant hand, he let out a furious roar. The heaven and earth lost their color. The entire space-time seemed to have turned into a strange wheel that began to revolve in front of Su Yin. At this moment, Su Yin was like an immovable mountain, tyrannical to the extreme. Boom! Under the shocked eyes of everyone present, they saw the momentum of the heavens and the earth fluctuating. The heavens emitted killing intent, and the stars moved. The earth emitted killing intent, and dragons and serpents rose from the land. The world changed. The sun and moon sank, and the mountains and rivers rumbled. Space-time seemed to have been cut off. Following Su Yin's aura, the heaven and earth were vaguely replaced by two giant dragons, Yin and Yang. Moreover, the moment they merged together, the world was changing violently to the extreme. Kill! Su Yin roared. It was as if he had grasped the heavens, the earth, the rivers, the mountains, the sun, the moon, and the stars, and even a corner of the universe. He released the power of the fusion of the heavens and earth, evolving a condensed small world that violently smashed towards the Divine King's giant hand. Boom! A thunderous explosion shook the heavens and the earth. Under the trembling eyes of the Han family members, they saw the Divine King's giant hand being pierced through. Su Yin was like a cultivator who had grasped the momentum of the heavens and earth. His supernatural abilities were vast as he borrowed the power of the heavens and earth to fiercely attack. His every move overturned the momentum of the heavens and earth. It was as if he had grasped the universe and bombarded the Divine King. 7th Stage Grandmaster. The spectators found it hard to believe. Su Yin had only obtained the heavenly momentum chapter for a short period of time, but he had already cultivated to the 7th stage domain. Moreover, his grasp of the momentum of the heavens and earth was exquisite beyond compare. He grasped the power of the universe and beat the Divine King until he couldn't raise his head. Even his domain was broken. A heavenly deity, without the help of external forces, is attacking a Divine King. Such an attitude caused the experts in the outside world to lose their colors. Without a doubt, Su Yin was now a grandmaster of the occult arts. He was at the heavenly deity realm and could fight against the Divine King. I hate this, the Divine King roared. His clan had flourished with the identity of the founder of the occult arts, eventually becoming the Overlord clan of the Primal Chaos Ruins. But now, Su Yin, with his status as a 7th stage occult arts grandmaster without the help of external forces, grasped the momentum of the world and grasped the power of the universe. He forcefully beat the Divine King until he couldn't raise his head. Everything was suppressed. He coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. He simply couldn't stop Su Yin. The Divine King's combat strength was suppressed, and he was on the verge of death. It was even to the extent that the reason Su Yin was able to become a grandmaster of the occult arts was related to the Han family. It was the Han family who took the initiative to provoke Su Yin and lost the heavenly momentum chapter. Kill. Join hands and destroy Su Yin. The group of powerhouses from the Han clan could no longer sit still. They charged forward in a frenzy, and terrifying divine power filled the sky and rolled over. Come, all of you. Let me kill to my heart's content. As Su Yin laughed, the wind and clouds vanished. Demonic energy surged out from his body. The human-shaped puppet once again merged with Su Yin, filling him with supreme power. He could easily tear the Divine King apart. His long black hair hung down loosely. The Divine King's puppet combined with the momentum of the world caused Su Yan's aura to reach the apex. It was as if he could reverse the situation and fight against a half-step expert. Boom! In a single exchange, the sky was filled with blood and corpses. A large number of cultivators died under Su Yan's fists. Kill. Destroy the Han family. Back then, they bullied my brother because he was weak. Now, the cycle of karma has changed. Destroy the Han family. At this moment, Yuan and the others rushed into the battlefield one after another. A group of outstanding young overlords, one after another, burst out with their auras and filled the entire battlefield. The younger generation of the Han family was truly in despair. Luo de Li, Yuan, and Tensor, the three young overlords, joined hands and attacked. They were like three blood-colored lightning bolts that destroyed the Han family's ancestral land and began a massacre. Of course, all of this couldn't be compared to the cruelest problem facing the Han family. The universe's heavenly punishment had already reached a frightening level. Boundless tribulations fell, destroying the world. Moreover, during the process of breaking through, Yiling Tian's absorption ability was abnormal. With every breath, countless heaven and earth essence penetrated his body, giving him a strong foundation. The area within a radius of 100,000 miles turned into a huge black hole. The essence energy was completely sucked away. The territory seemed to be walking towards death and destruction, becoming a wasteland. Since ancient times, who dared to do such a thing? Experts wouldn't choose to break through in their ancestral land. Firstly, the heavenly punishment's destructive power was shocking. Secondly, the divine power required to break through to the realm of Almighty was too abnormal. Normally, such experts would choose to break through in the depths of the universe, or in the universe mystic realms controlled by their race. After all, the throughput of almighty experts was shocking. Although the essence energy in the universe was thin, with the throughput of almighty experts, they could satisfy their needs by cultivating in the depths of the universe for a long time. However, Yiling Tian was crazily plundering the Han family's ancestral land. This caused the Han family's ancestors to be extremely heartbroken. Even if they withdrew now, the Han family's losses would be immeasurable. More than half of the territory would become a wasteland. The Han family's sacred land had been nurtured for millions of years. Now, with the destruction of the universe's heavenly punishment and Yiling Tian's absorption, everything was destroyed. Why hasn't the sacred weapon awakened? Our race has 5 sacred weapons of the Great Tao. Although we lost one, 4 of them are still slumbering in our ancestral land. Some ancestors were anxious. Yiling Tian was too overbearing. Step by step, he pushed the universe's heavenly punishment to sweep through the entire ancestral land. He also intimidated the Han family's experts. None of them dared to throw their lives away to stop him. But why hadn't their family's sacred weapon awakened yet? At this time, the depths of the ancestral land were suddenly dyed red by thick blood. It was a terrifying scene. It was as if the gates to hell had opened. Bloody lights surged and flooded the sky. No, no. A group of elders trembled and lost control. Blood flowed from the corners of their eyes. Their legs went soft, and they fell to the ground, paralyzed. They saw that the depths of the ancestral land were temporarily covered by a powerful energy field. Now that the field was broken, the entire ancestral land was riddled with holes. Blood flowed like a river. How many people had died? Among them, there was an old man with gray hair. He was bathed in blood like a mad dragon. He brandished a bright sword embryo and shattered the entire ancestral land. Heaven and earth were turned upside down. Chi, the group of experts guarding the ancestral land, were all decapitated. This was the peerless sharpness of the sky, cleaving sword. It chopped off the heads of a group of elders and dyed the sky red. The heavens want to destroy our Han family. The cultivators of the Han family trembled in fear. There was actually a powerful being who had already infiltrated the depths of the ancestral land and started a massacre. Moreover, He had taken out a supreme sacred weapon of the great Tao, the sky-cleaving sword, and killed until the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Ghosts cried and gods howled. I'm afraid the Han family is finished. The buried realm race is standing up for Su Xianren. I'm afraid they'll destroy the entire Han family in one go. The spectators outside had mixed feelings. Yiling Tian had triggered the universe's heavenly punishment and blocked the entrance. Xiao had already killed his way in, using his peak Great Tao sacred weapon to kill. This was a tragic event that had never happened before in this universe era. Some people felt that the Han family was most likely finished. The depths of the ancestral land were riddled with holes. Two powerful beings had stood up for Su Yan in anger, causing the experts of the universe's myriad races to tremble in fear. The buried realm race had quietly gained 3 powerful beings. This was enough to make the world go crazy. The patriarch has awakened. At this time, an ancient powerful being had emerged from the ancestral land of the Han family. This allowed the Han family to see a ray of hope in their despair. But the patriarch originated from the previous universe era. Even if he stood up now, would he be able to change the course of the battle? The Han family's powerful being. Su Yan's eyes shone. He looked into the depths of the ancestral land and saw the door to a stone hall open. He sat cross-legged in the darkness and said coldly, "A million years have passed. No one can bully my Han family. Your buried realm race has already declined. How dare you offend my Han family? Get out here. I'll cut you down with my sword." Xiao's entire body was filled with the stench of blood. He held the blood-stained sky-cleaving sword. Ha ha ha. The Han family's patriarch laughed angrily. I've lived for hundreds of thousands of years. I've been worried that a calamity would befall my race. Today, I've finally waited. I still have to thank you for bringing me the reincarnation fruit and the source of life of 2 powerful beings, allowing me to stand in my golden age. With these words, the entire Han family went crazy. The patriarch is invincible. Boundless magic power. The patriarch is invincible. Boundless magic power. All the cultivators of the Han family roared. They saw hope. It was as if they could see the 2 powerful beings dying tragically. It was as if they could see Su Xianren kneeling in front of the Han family and repenting. Chapter 1078. Within the Han family's ancestral land, where a blood-red light soared into the heavens, a divine voice rumbled, shaking the heavens and earth. It contained a killing intent that was enough to make ghosts and gods weep. The declining fate of the Han family seemed to be revived. The entire group of clansmen roared. The words of the Han family's old ancestor roused the declining morale of the entire group. All of the clansmen were incomparably excited. Their shouts merged into one, piercing through the blood-red light and startling the myriad races of the universe. For a time, the entire world trembled. Could it be that the situation of the Han family's annihilation was about to be reversed? The Han family has existed for 1,000,000 years. It isn't something that can be destroyed so easily. Outside, an old powerhouse said, "The clan's background still exists. Perhaps they really do have a heaven-defying background that can stabilize their clan's destiny. Now that they have reached the point of extinction, they will definitely bring it out." That's right. Such a strong clan cannot be destroyed so easily. Perhaps the Han family has an ultimate background. Could it be that they will be able to eliminate 2 supreme elders? Isn't that a bit too exaggerated? Let's wait and see. 2 supreme elders have arrived from the burial realm. This supreme elder bathed in the universe's heavenly tribulation will soon succeed in his breakthrough. I want to see just how strong the Han family's background is. The people outside watched with wide eyes. Regardless of the outcome of this battle, it was enough to shake the world. It was also enough to determine the current status of the Burial Realms clan. If there really were 3 supreme elders guarding the clan, then their status as the Overlord clan would undoubtedly be confirmed. Just what cards does the Han family have? Su Yan's eyes were dignified. If an Overlord clan that had existed for 1,000,000 years really were to launch a final counterattack, then it would be incredible, following which His gaze fell upon a simple stone temple. After looking at it for a moment, Su Yan's complexion changed. This was a supreme treasure born from the heavens and earth, and it had formed a stone temple. The stone temple didn't look too large. It was simple and unadorned, filled with the aura of time. But under Su Yan's observation, he could clearly see that the stone temple was covered with dense and mysterious textures. They were shaped like a true dragon, a qilin, a black tortoise. This was a rare treasure nurtured by the earth, and its value was immeasurable. The world inside the stone palace was an independent space-time, isolated from the rest of the world. No wonder the powerful beings of the Han family could live for an entire universe epic. So it was because of the suppression of the stone palace. Also, the stone palace should be located on a small, chaotic dragon vein. Su Yan exclaimed, then coldly snorted. However, although this almighty being has lived for more than 100,000 years, his main body shouldn't have much battle strength left. I want to know how much strength the Han family has left. Boom! Under the gazes of everyone present, a figure stood up at the door of the ancient stone hall. He seemed to be a demon god standing in the darkness, and his aura was cold and gloomy. When this person walked out, it caused a huge commotion. This was a mighty figure who was so old that his body was about to rot. He wore an ancient Taoist robe, and his body swayed as he walked, as if he would fall to the ground at any moment. However, as he walked step by step, his dormant aura began to grow stronger and stronger. Finally, a majestic and ancient aura swept through the entire Han family's ancestral land. This was the aura of a powerful being. Although he was in a terrible state of decline, he did his best to recover and was filled with a world-shaking divine might. A powerful being who had declined to the extreme, who originated from the previous universe epic and had lived for more than 100,000 years. Just this identity alone was already incredible. You bully my Han family. Today, I will make you pay with your blood. His withered eyes scanned the miserable state of the Han clan, and he let out a howl. The blood-colored light that filled the sky exploded, and the light of order surged out from his ancient fleshly body, causing the Han clan ancestral land to seem as if it were about to come back to life. Ancestor is invincible. His magic power is boundless. Kill that brat Su Yan. Avenge our clan. Avenge. Everyone in the Han family was filled with anger, and their eyes were bloodshot. They roared out the anger in their hearts, and they were even more confident in the Han family's ancestor. They felt that the Han family's heritage of 1,000,000 years must have a shocking foundation that could kill a powerful being. Damn, it quickly hypnotized me. Bao Kai, who was digging up treasuries all over the place, was cursing and swearing, saying that the old ancestor was unrivaled and his magical force was boundless. This shocked Bao Kai until he felt uneasy. After all, their race had been passed down for millions of years. The people of this race felt that they had the most powerful background and could kill a powerful being. In fact, they didn't know whether their clan had such a foundation, but the words of the Han family's ancestor made them feel that they definitely had such a foundation. What a great way to bully your Han family. Yi Ling Tian, who was in the middle of the lightning tribulation, coldly snorted. His body rippled, and his blood essence surged. His aura swallowed the entire region, and he suppressed the Han family's ancestors' power with lightning speed. He said angrily, "Your Han family has repeatedly bullied my clan's juniors, and you still have the face to say such words? I feel ashamed for your Han family." Yi Ling Tian was furious. The blood essence in his body was like the sea of the universe, and the suppression of the Han family's light was directly extinguished. The earth sank into darkness, and only his immortal furnace was burning fiercely. Your clan's juniors dared to touch my clan's heritage. You shall be punished. The Han family's ancestor replied. He had already walked out of the stone hall and stood in the middle of the bloodstained Han family's ancestral land. His entire body emitted a strange energy fluctuation, and the entire bloodstained region rippled with a grand aura. Su Yan's face sank. The Han family's ancestral land seemed to have awakened. He could clearly sense a shocking energy fluctuation awakening. This should be the Han family's foundation. Since you bullied my clan, then I'll exterminate your Han family. Yiling Tian was too lazy to talk nonsense with him. The extremely ferocious cosmic heavenly tribulation energy continued to be released, erupting. Billions of lightning bolts directly bombarded the earth, layer by layer, overturning the entire region of life. My Han family has existed for millions of years. How dare you two clowns spout nonsense in my ancestral land? The Han family's ancestor emitted a strange energy fluctuation. In a short period of time, the Han family's ancestral land had really been revived. Everyone was in disbelief. The Han family's ancestral land had changed, and the Holy Land was being reenacted. Be careful, Grandpa Xiahou. This is the technique of a rank 8 Grandmaster of the Strange Gate. Even the ancestors of the Han family used the power of the Strange Gate to completely transform their ancestral land. That's right. Su Yan's face was solemn. He hadn't expected the Han family's ancestor to be an 8th grade Grandmaster. But this wasn't even important. What was important was that the Han family's ancestral land had been transformed. How much effort and resources had it taken to complete such a project? It's fine. Xiaohou's reply made Su Yan scratch his head. Why should he be worried? The old leader was a supreme expert. As for Xiahou and the others, they had been fighting for hegemony for thousands of years. They had seen all kinds of scenes. No matter how strong the Han family was, they couldn't be compared to the ancestral hall. Heaven and earth reenacted. The expressions of the spectating experts from the outside world changed. They saw the shattered mountains, rivers, and great earth being reconstructed. The bloody radiance scattered throughout the ancestral land evaporated, and the starry skies were rearranged. Moreover, it was descending, crushing down on the Han family's great region. This was the supreme method of an 8th grade Grandmaster. Of course, this wasn't the most important thing. My family's foundation revive. Meet the enemy and kill them all. The Han family's ancestor roared. He seemed to have turned into the core of the world. The Han family's ancestral land was burning. Boom! The surrounding large territories were trembling. At this moment, the Han family's ancestral land seemed to be divided, full of supreme fluctuations. It was to the extent that this sacred pure land was revived. When it breathed out, it was like a giant dragon, causing the surrounding dozens of great regions to dim and lose their luster. The boundless territory was reduced to a wasteland. The dragon veins dried up one after another, and the precious cultivation lands had their life energy extinguished. The 4 sides of the world and a huge amount of divine power belonged to the Han family. Han family, you are so cruel. An ancestor of a great sect lost control and roared. You are so cruel. You've been plotting for millions of years. You are too vicious. My ancestral land's dragon veins have dried up. Han family, you are too vicious. The surrounding large territories were almost turned into wastelands. Countless people were shouting and cursing. This was because the boundless spiritual essence had been completely sucked out, and all of it had been absorbed by the Han family's ancestral land. Su Yan's heart trembled. This was the method of an 8th grade Grandmaster. Moreover, after a long time, the Han family had spared no effort to change the structure of millions of li of territory. Once the Han family met with a calamity, these large territories would become nourishment for the Han family, providing them with peerless divine power. The powerful expert's heavenly punishment has dispersed. This method is too powerful. It can confuse heaven's secrets. Even the powerful expert's heavenly punishment has been isolated. The spectators who had rushed over were shocked. This was the Han family's peerless foundation. During the revival process, they had swallowed the surrounding large territory's boundless life essence. Moreover, the entire great territory of life was overflowing with resplendent light. It had become the #1 territory in the primal chaos ruins. The ancestor is invincible. His magical power is boundless. The ancestor is invincible. His magical power is boundless. The members of the Han family were wild with excitement. They let out hysterical roars. What kind of method was this? It could change the heavens and the earth. It was omnipotent and magical. The Han family's ancestor was powerful to an inconceivable degree. This large territory contained the life essence of dozens of large territories. It was connected to the ancestral land, causing the entire ancestral land to be filled with a supreme pressure. Magical power is boundless. Lawyer Grandpa, the Baokai was furious. It was completely different from before when it was sick. It was full of vigor and vitality. Around its neck were dozens of nearly bursting void bags. It had plowed through the entire area and dug out over 100 secret treasure vaults. It was so excited that the Han family's ancestral land had awakened and turned into an impenetrable fortress. It was difficult to explore and excavate. So what if you're a powerful expert? In front of my Han family, you still have to submit and tremble. The Han family's ancestor did not care about the consequences. Right now, nothing could compare to the danger the Han family was facing. Bang! The Han family's ancestral land interweaved with beams of light that caused the gods to tremble. In particular, in Su Yan's universal eye, the Han family's ancestral land had turned into a supreme killing array. Sometimes it turned into an azure dragon. Sometimes it turned into a Qilin. Sometimes it turned into a black tortoise. Sometimes it turned into a Kuan Pong, transforming all things. Su Yan was speechless. This was the Han family's glorious era. The unique environment created by the ancestors of each generation had been awakened in this era. It was as if the supreme power of each generation of ancestors had been released. A terrifying and boundless strength rose and fell. This was the divine might of the entire region. It evolved into a killing saint technique that attacked Xiahou. Even Xiahou, who wielded the heaven-cleaving sword, was forced back several steps by this abnormal killing saint technique. It was difficult for him to resist. Xiahou was moved. This was a supreme secret technique of the occult sect. It evolved the power of all things and suppressed the enemy. Let's see how many times you can withstand. The Han family's ancestor angrily laughed. The Han family's ancestral land once again began to devour everything. The surrounding large regions were thrown into turmoil. Large black cracks appeared in many places. Some great sects were even torn apart. This matter caused great chaos and panic. The Han family's ancestor wanted to kill a powerful expert and seize the source of life of the vast universe. But the price was that he might sacrifice the surrounding large regions. This method was extremely cruel. At that time, countless cultivators would be left homeless. There would also be families with ancient inheritances that would lose their family territories. After dozens of killing attacks, Xiahou was beaten until he was unable to stand steadily. Finally, he let out a heaven-shaking roar. A terrifying figure appeared behind him, emitting a source of divine force that could explode the sea of stars. The old chief has come. Yuan was incomparably excited. This was the idol of his heart, the god of war. Just this figure, whose sharpness couldn't be suppressed by the sea of stars, had already opened up the terrifying ancestral ground of the Han clan. The divine might of an absolute almighty was unobstructed at a glance. They had cultivated to the pinnacle, and once they went crazy, a corner of the universe would collapse. Even the vast ancestral ground of the Han clan was trembling. Chapter 1079. Within the entire Han family's ancestral land, the most divine and most holy of all, the Qiongqi profound mysteries evolved, filling the air with fluctuations that could cleave apart the world. Tens of millions of miles of territory fell into darkness. This dark world fell into chaos and panic. In a short period of time, too many tribes and clans collapsed, their dragon veins torn apart. The vast region was reduced to a wasteland. Dozens of great regions were in a terrible state. Many people were crying and roaring. There were also some spectating powerhouses who sighed. This was the accumulation of the Han family's resources over the years. After all, they were a branch of the Strange Gate, and they were able to trespass and change the world. But Who would have thought that the Han family would do such a daring thing? Of course, this was the Han family's territory, and there weren't any particularly strong tribes or clans. Even if they did this, they were confident that they could suppress this terrifying storm. At the same time, the Han family's current actions also proved their resources. Even Xiaohou, a savage who wielded the heaven-cleaving sword, had been suppressed. No matter how strong Xiaohou was, he couldn't resist the endless suppression of the universe's strength. If this continued, even an almighty expert would suffer heavy losses. But no one could have imagined that behind Xiaohou, an imposing figure would appear. This figure was like an overlord that ruled over the world, and the aura that flowed out from his body caused the stars in the sky to explode. The Han family structure began to tremble under the pressure of this awakening figure. It was as if time and space were about to explode and submit to the old chief, an absolute almighty expert. The spectators outside trembled. Could it be that the three almighty experts of the buried region had gathered here? Once an absolute almighty expert, Tyrant Ren took action. Who could stop him? Even within the Han family's ancestral history, there had never been an absolute almighty expert. Without a doubt, the old chief of the buried region was an absolute almighty expert. In the past, as long as the taboo didn't appear, an absolute almighty expert would be the highest god. They would stand at the peak of the domain, and their strength would reach an incomprehensible degree. But now, the old chief's figure soared through the skies like a terrifying blazing sun. He shook the entire structure of the Han family's ancestral land, and the entire space-time seemed as if it would explode under the pressure of an absolute almighty expert. Peerless Almighty, is my Han family really going to be defeated? The Han family was filled with alarmed voices. Their scalps went numb. This figure seemed to have transcended the past, present, and future. It was as if a taboo giant was awakening and emitting boundless divine might that intimidated everyone present. Even the sacred land of the Han family, which had devoured the essence of dozens of regions, was on the verge of collapse. It couldn't suppress the aura of the Almighties at all. That year, the old leader of the buried region appeared out of nowhere and slaughtered his way to the ancestral hall's territory. His style was peerless, and he even killed an almighty expert with one punch. This kind of legend and glory was passed down in many races to this day. Rumor had it that when a supreme being was enraged, they could slay enemies from hundreds of millions of miles away. This kind of existence was too rare. The number of supreme beings in the entire universe could be counted on one's fingers. Haha, you want to overthrow my clan with just a mark of an almighty? You are really delusional. At this moment, the angry laughter of the Han family's ancestor rang out, causing the expressions of Su Yin and the others to change. This was only an imprint of the ancestor, a killing move, and not the ancestor himself. The ancestor couldn't come to the primal chaos land. Once he did, the consequences would be unimaginable. After all, the ancestral hall and the other races had been keeping an eye on the Milky Way galaxy. Once the Milky Way galaxy was breached, the buried region's rear progenitor would be lost. I think it's enough, Xiaohou roared. The figure behind him began to erupt along with his aura. The ancestor's figure was too imposing. The moment his aura spread out, the entire Han family's ancestral land began to tremble, and many large cracks appeared. Could it be that the Han family still has a trump card? The Han family's ancestors' words caused the experts in the outside world to feel apprehensive. If the Han family could withstand the attack of an almighty expert, then it would be terrifying. But was it possible? After all, if they could withstand an almighty expert, then their Han family wouldn't need to fear any other race under the heavens. Their status would be even more shocking than before. Ignorant fool, I'll let you know what an immortal's foundation is, and what a former king is. The Han family's ancestors' eyes flashed with determination. His voice was sinister as he said, "After killing two almighty experts and erasing the imprint of an almighty expert, my Han family is destined to regain the lost glory of our ancestors. Ancestors of the past, come out of seclusion and protect the Han family. intimidate all enemies. The Han family's ancestors' eyes were filled with madness. Suddenly, the trembling Han family's ancestral land began to emit a terrifying aura. Boom! Layer after layer of imposing aura filled the entire Han family's ancestral land. It was as if many condensed universes were opening up, blooming in the Han family's ancestral land. They emitted a pressure that originated from the river of time, spreading out for hundreds of millions of li. Su Yan felt a headache coming on. The Han family's ancestral land seemed as if the heroic spirits of the past ancestors had returned. One after another, enormous figures filled the sea of stars, overlooking all living beings. More than 10 terrifying figures appeared, as if they had returned from prehistoric times. At the same time, an extremely vast source of energy was being unsealed. This is my family's strongest foundation. All the members of the Han family shouted. They were so excited that they fell to their knees, kowtowing towards the floating figures. These were the imprints of the Han family's ancestors. They were buried in the Han family's ancestral land, sharing life and death with the entire Han family. In fact, it was as if more than 10 great dragon veins had opened up in the Han family's ancestral land, gushing out with boundless divine energy. This was the energy essence that the Han family had accumulated for millions of years. At the critical moment of release, the entire Han family's ancestral land turned into a holy land. Boom! A boundless aura was released, sweeping across the vast world. It shook the distant lands, as if it wanted to sink the oceans. It's the Han family. In the distant lands, the crowd was terrified as they saw the Han family's blazing brilliance. They had opened up their strongest foundation, activating more than 10 imprints of the Han family's ancestors, and releasing the divine energy they had accumulated for millions of years. On this day, the Han family was the focus of the entire world. It was glorious to the extreme. Even the old leader's imposing figure was suppressed by the radiance of his light. Heavens, they're too strong. They're worthy of being the founding power of the strange sect. They've accumulated an immeasurable foundation, and even imprints of their ancestors have been preserved to this day. Peerless foundation, who can compete with them? The experts who came to watch the battle cried out in surprise. Facing such a foundation, even some of the peak clans dare to challenge it. The Han family's accumulation had surpassed the world's imagination. Once it was awakened, it shocked the world. If we can't stop them, we'll have to retreat. Xiao's voice rang out, causing Su Yan to clench his fists. The Han family's foundation was too strong. Unless the old leader came personally, there was no way they could destroy the entire Han family. However, the Han family's ultimate trump card had already been released. Even if they were to retract it now, their foundation would be greatly damaged, and it would be extremely difficult for them to accumulate to their current level. Even Xiao and the rest did not suffer any losses, and were able to kill to their heart's content. In the future, the Han family would not be a threat to them. Just relying on the old ancestor of the Han family, who was nearing the end of his lifespan, would not be able to do anything. However, Xiao and the rest were regretful that they had not excavated the Han family's treasury yet. It's a pity to leave now. Su Yan's eyes shone brightly as he transmitted his voice to Xiao, telling him to hold on for a while longer. He might have a way to reverse the situation. Su Yan's figure disappeared. At this time, no one would pay attention to Su Yan and the rest. How is it? The Han family's old ancestor looked down at Xiao and the rest, coldly saying, "My clan is the true king. Your declining clan can't even be called bronze." "Huh." It could be seen on the stage. Xiao replied. Although he did not know how confident Su Yan was, he still had to give it a try. They had already killed their way to this level, and it would be too much of a pity to leave now. "Kiki, you really won't shed a tear until you see the coffin." The Han family's old ancestor laughed sinisterly. "I'm looking forward to the source of your almighty strength. My hope of living another life is also on your bodies. Have you thought about it? Your clan almost turned the surrounding dozens of large regions into wastelands. Can you bear the karma of this?" Xiao asked calmly. Haha, the strong is the king. This has always been the truth since ancient times. What does the world know? Do you dare to say something unpleasant in front of my Han family? The Han family's old ancestor laughed coldly. It seemed that he had a complete grasp of the current situation, and there would not be any accidents. The longer you live, the more you fear death. If you had defended with your foundation, I wouldn't have been able to use the divine ability of an almighty. But you're just doing it for your own selfish desires. Xiaoho's voice rumbled, shaking the four seas and spreading into the ears of countless living beings. Even if he had to retreat, even if he failed, he would make the Han family's future miserable and plant a seed of disaster. Winner takes all. I'll send you on your way. The Han family's old ancestor gritted his teeth and roared. The Han family's foundation finally began to burn, and the boundless sea of life also began to burn. However, the moment this sea of life that had been accumulating for 1,000,000 years was about to be released, a figure attracted everyone's attention. His figure was erratic, as if he was stepping on a space-time node. Step by step, he penetrated through a complex and terrifying layout. The Han family's old elders turned pale with fright. They had completely lost control. Their clan's foundation was guarded by the Mystic Gates layout, but they had missed out on one person. Su Yin had obtained the Heavenly Force chapter, and he was also a Mystic Gates Grandmaster. However, some of the old elders were still calm. With their clan's foundation, it was impossible for Su Yin to easily break in. However, none of them had expected Su Yin to summon a Grade 7 Genesis brush, open his universe eye, and travel through the illusory space of the River of Stars. Step by step, he had charged in. You evil creature, what can you change if you break in? Can you change the layout? However, the Han family's old ancestor was extremely disdainful. Could Su Yin block the essence of 1,000,000 years of accumulation? He would most likely be destroyed in a single exchange. I'll kill you first. The Han family's old ancestor smiled sinisterly. He wanted to destroy Su Yin first. Perhaps the immortal Tao material that some great figure in history had gifted to the Han family was still in Su Yin's hands. But Yiling Tian rushed over to block the Han family's old ancestor. He was buying time for Su Yin. Although Yiling Tian did not know what method Su Yin had to block the Sea of Life, since Su Yin had gone, he must have a certain degree of confidence. You're overestimating yourself. What can this evil creature change? Since my clan's foundation has been unleashed, no one can stop you from being completely annihilated. The Han family's old ancestor sneered. He did not choose to fight Yiling Tian, even though the other party was not yet a mighty figure. His body suddenly soared into the air. He wanted to be like his ancestors, bathing in the energy of the Sea of Life and prolonging the aging of the human body. In truth, this 1,000,000 years of accumulation was all for the sake of the Han family's future. In the future, when the Han family faced a life and death crisis, the Sea of Life would allow the dozen or so old ancestors to temporarily revive their divine might and fight against powerful enemies. It's about to begin. The Han family's strongest foundation has been unleashed. Once the dozen or so mighty figures are temporarily revived, this will be an earth-shattering event. Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people, the Sea of Life suddenly began to churn. Boom! The Sea of Life that had been dormant for 1,000,000 years suddenly surged, emitting millions of rays of divine light. The void shattered, and the entire Han family's ancestral land trembled violently. It was as if this vast divine power would directly cause it to explode. Chapter 1080. This foundation. What a Han family. Many great sect masters were trembling inwardly. This was a truly world-shaking foundation that had been accumulated for an entire 1,000,000 years. It was a bit hard to believe. At this moment, the Han family was truly glorious. Their foundation could challenge the Life Forbidden Zone or even the Ancestral Hall. Once the Sea of Life was released, this Sea of Life that had been accumulated for countless years would temporarily revive the Han family's ancestral marks and protect the Han family's ancestral land. It was very likely that there would be a dozen powerful beings guarding the clan for a short period of time. Just think about it, and one would know how strong the Han family's foundation was. They might even be able to keep Xiaoho and the others here. They're really strong beyond belief. The Han family is really scary. I'm afraid Su Xianren and the others will suffer a great loss. They might even be kept here. The experts who had gathered to watch the battle were all shocked. The Han family's unparalleled foundation was released at the moment of life and death. Once the dozen powerful beings were revived, it would be a situation that could burn the world down. The Han family is invincible in the dilapidated ancestral land of the Han family. Shouts resounded through the heavens and the earth, accompanied by the divine sound of the Sea of Life, exploded and shook the heavens and the earth. This group of people seemed to have restored the most glorious era of their ancestors. Can Su Yin stop it? Yi Yuan and the others shuddered in fear. The silent Sea of Life surged, and millions upon millions of huge waves surged. It was enough to destroy the entire great domain of life. A divine king would be crushed into pieces in a single move, and even a mighty figure would suffer a terrifying blow. Now, Su Yin was standing on the opposite side of the Sea of Life. His figure was so small that it was hard to see clearly. Boom! When the sound of a dam bursting with despair exploded, it was as if the sky was collapsing. Large black cracks appeared in space and time. This was a scene that made people tremble. The flood of life surged and roared, rushing over. The moment it crushed everything, it directly submerged Su Yin. At this moment, the people of the world seemed to have seen Su Yin disappear, crushed into ashes. Ha ha ha, Su Xianren, you overestimate yourself. So what if you break in? So what if there is a great fortune in front of you? But can you suppress it? Su Yin, you will die without a burial site. This is the result of provoking my Han family. Within the Han family's ancestral land, mocking laughter reverberated. They could see the trillions of energy essence crushing down, submerging Su Yin and crushing him to pieces. I originally thought that Su Yin would have a way to balance the Sea of Life. It seems that I overestimated him. After all, he's just a young man and has overestimated himself. The spectators in the outside world couldn't help but laugh. It hadn't even begun, yet it was already over. Something's wrong. However, there were powerhouses who opened their heavenly eyes to watch. They could see that the immeasurable life essence that rushed out was beginning to decline at a terrifying speed, weakening with such a vast sea of life. Even if a supreme being were to break in, they wouldn't necessarily have a good ending. Although cultivators could devour the power of life to grow, if the power of life was strong enough, it could also destroy powerhouses. But now, what were some people seeing? The immensely vast sea of life was rapidly declining at a strange speed. It was like a colossus was devouring the sea of life's immeasurable divine treasury. Eat, eat, eat to your heart's content. Su Yin smiled brightly. The more the dragon totem absorbed, the better. Not only could it restore the dragon totem's might, but it could even destroy the Han family's ultimate foundation. The reason he dared to come here was because of the dragon totem's freakish absorption speed. The sea of life that the Han family had accumulated for 1,000,000 years could absolutely satisfy the dragon totem's terrifying needs. How could such a ridiculous thing happen? Many people lost control and screamed. How did Su Xianren accomplish this? Even a supreme being would find it extremely difficult to do so. The entire Han family fell into a strange silence. This was awkward. They had already unleashed their strongest foundation, but because of Su Yin, such a ridiculous change occurred. Many people in the Han family even had thoughts of suicide. There were even elders who had been sleeping for thousands of years, crying out in grief. Why did they provoke Su Yin? Why did they want to kill him? Why did they bet with him on the heavenly influence chapter? But it was too late to say anything now. Everything was too late. Even if the Han family could survive this calamity, would they still have any hope of standing up in the future? He believed that just the tribes and factions in the surrounding dozens of regions could devour the Han family until nothing was left. Bastard! The Han family's old ancestor let out a roar of shock. Blood almost burst out from the corner of his eyes. The grand plan had already begun, but because of a heavenly god junior, it was all ruined. But he really couldn't figure out how Su Yin had done it. Even Xiaohou and the others couldn't figure out how Su Yin had swallowed the limitless life essence of the Sea of Life. Just what had this brat done? You little bastard, stop for me. The Han family's old ancestor lost control and roared. The declining blood essence of a supreme being directly erupted. Even the dozen or so ancestral marks that had awakened in the tribe swarmed over, wanting to kill their way into the Sea of Life and stop Su Yin. He hoped that there was still time. Boom! Amidst the roaring, killing intent, the entire ancestral land of the Han family was boiling. Dozens of grand auras surged, piercing through the heavens and piercing through the heavens. The terrifying pressure of the long river of time filled the entire area. Just this kind of lineup was enough to deter any supreme being from acting rashly. However, the old leader's figure behind Xiaohou was still as iron-blooded and tyrannical as before. He stood between the heavens and earth, looking down on all life. So what if there were dozens of Han family ancestral marks? The old leader's mark was enough to replace his main body for a short period of time. Although it couldn't compare to his main body's greatest strength, it wasn't much weaker. Kill! The old leader's mark seemed to come alive. With a cold shout, he activated his invincible strength and directly blocked the dozens of Han family ancestral marks. This was a scene worthy of the world's reverence. So what if there were dozens of supreme being marks? In front of the old leader, they were clearly weak and small. It was the same as dozens of extremely declining supreme beings facing a supreme being that had stood tall in his golden years. After all, these dozen or so marks required a massive amount of life essence in order to recover their peak strength. But the old leader's mark was something that he had just evolved not too long ago. The mark of a supreme being was not so easy to evolve. It required the consumption of an immeasurable amount of blood essence in order to form a killing mark. Bastards, I want you to die. Die. The Han family old ancestor roared like a madman. He summoned the 4 heaven-suppressing stones and fiercely attacked, wanting to break through the defensive line. Right now, the Sea of Life was his only hope. Once the Sea of Life was extinguished, the Han family would likely be annihilated. You still dare to bully the weak and target my family's juniors? Xiaohou coldly shouted. He summoned the heaven-cleaving sword to meet the attack. The sword's edge was peerless, and sword light surged out like a tide. In an instant, the 4 heaven-suppressing stones were sent flying. He sneered at the Han family old ancestor and said, "Old bastard, you can still summon waves even now? Hand over your life." Within the Han family's ancestral land, the battle between supreme beings had already begun. The entire great region was on the verge of collapse. All sorts of lights of order collided, causing the heavens and earth to tremble. The surrounding great regions were shaken. There were also people who stared at the Sea of Life, feeling apprehensive. Just what method had Su Yin used? Stealing the divine power spurting out from the Sea of Life that was constantly erupting? It's all because of him. It's all because of him. A Han family elder roared, "Su Xianren, you must kill him. It's all because of him that our Han family has fallen to such a state. Su Xianren, you must die. Even if our Han family is annihilated, we must kill Su Xianren." A large number of Han family members rushed madly towards Su Yan. They were very clear that their family's strongest foundation had been interrupted because of Su Yan. If their foundation could not be revived, then their Han family would truly be finished. Kill. The entire Han family's ancestral land was in ruins. Battle cries shook the heavens. This was a killing intent targeted at Su Yan. From all directions, large numbers of cultivators flew over, bringing out all sorts of killing weapons. Many of their eyes were filled with madness. They wanted to kill Su Yan. Even if their entire clan was annihilated, they wanted to kill Su Yan. Come, Su Yan, am not afraid of you. Su Yan stood tall in the Sea of Life, his long hair fluttering in the wind. Killing intent shot out from his eyes as he let out an explosive roar, releasing his essence, energy, and spirit. He was like a demonic god soaring through the sky. His body was blazing, releasing the power of a demonic god. It shook the heavens and earth and filled the entire place. This was a kind of great might that was unrivaled in the same generation. Even the divine king felt an unprecedented pressure. Why did you provoke him? A senior elder roared. Su Yan's power made him feel despair. This was a young man, but he felt as if he was facing an ancient monster. This is our only hope. Kill Su Yan, open the Sea of Life, and restore our clan's foundation. Groups of experts madly rushed over, wanting to stop Su Yan and open the Sea of Life that he had blocked. You dare to join forces against my brother? The Han family is finished. Luo, Dali, and the other two joined forces. The three young experts' blood essence was vigorous, and their auras were astonishing. They emitted cold, killing intent as they rushed into the battlefield. The Han family situation was clear. Yiling Tian was eyeing the Han family covetously. He patrolled the area and hunted down the half-step powerhouses of the Han family who were still alive. He did not interfere in the bloody battle between Su Yan and the experts of the Han family. Xiahou and the old chief blocked the Han family's strongest foundation. This was a power struggle that would affect the entire situation. Boom! Over at the Sea of Life, a great battle was ignited. Divine light covered the sky and earth. Su Yan and the other two experts guarded the gate of the Sea of Life and fought side by side. They used their strongest combat power and bombarded the experts of the Han family who were rushing over, starting a bloody battle. Come if you're not afraid of death. Today, I'll kill to my heart's content. The four experts soared through the sky like four blazing suns, emitting a ferocious might that could sweep through the world. Yuan and the others roared as terrifying auras surged within their bodies. Very few cultivators below the Divine King could withstand a single blow from them. Kill Su Yan. Our Han family can still continue the bloodline of our clan. Kill him. The eyes of the dozen or so Divine King revealed madness as they joined forces against Su Yan. The scene was too spectacular. However, Su Yan had the help of the humanoid puppet and the power of the occult arts grandmaster. He was completely a peak Divine King as he fought against all the Divine King experts. Kill. Su Yan's eyes were completely bloodshot as he endured the dozen or so layers of the Divine King's domain. He let out a loud roar, causing the blood and chi of the experts to tremble violently. A large number of cultivators around him exploded. Su Yan was bathed in blood as he madly charged into the midst of the Divine King's group. His blood-stained body burned with divine light as his combat strength erupted. His essence blood rushed into the clouds as his roar shook the starry skies. Stop him! The dozen or so Divine King cried out in alarm as they tried their best to resist. However, Su Xianren had gone berserk. His tyrannical aura had reached the extreme and overturned the Divine King's domain. He charged forward like a blood-soaked demon god. It was difficult to look straight at him. No, this Divine King was terrified. His scalp went numb as he was completely suppressed by Su Xianren. He wanted to reverse the Divine King's origin, but Su Yan's terrifying aura caused the world to tremble. Vaguely, the Divine King's blood splashed out and dyed the firmament red. Everyone saw that this Divine King screamed miserably. In the process of resisting, his arm was directly broken by Su Yan. Then, Su Yan held the immortal iron rod and smashed it into pieces in the void. The Divine King is nothing. I'll kill him all the same. Su Yan said coldly. He had once been so weak that he couldn't even withstand a single blow from the Divine King. Now, Su Yan was unafraid of all the kings in the world. Moreover, he was able to kill a deity king in such a situation, causing the experts of the Han clan to tremble in fear. If the half-step supreme experts didn't intervene, who would be able to stop the violent, ruthless Su? Chapter 1081. Murderous light surged in this ruined world, the heavens weeping blood, the sun and moon without light. The scene here was horrifying, all types of divine abilities blossoming, great Tao light igniting, destructive aura spreading out. The four great experts attacked in all directions, joining hands to kill the enemy, killing until the enemy truly dared. Who could stop them? The Han family's divine king was stopped by Su Yin alone. How could the others be a match for Luo Dali's group? In short, corpses piled up like mountains in the sea of life, blood flowing like a long river. This battle truly ignited their madness, even more so igniting the battle blood that had suppressed Su Yin for so long. In the final moment, many of the attackers were terrified. Kill! Su Yin released a great roar. The battle blood within his body is surging, absorbing the endless essence of the sea of life, immediately breaking through to the fifth layer of the heavenly deity realm. He was like a terrifying star as he charged forward, suppressing the endless stream of enemies until they fell weak onto the ground. Breaking through in the middle of battle, Su Yan's head of blood-dyed, long hair scattered down, his aura toppling mountains and overturning seas. He became more and more courageous the more he fought. This was a cruel blow to the enemy. In the end, Su Yan's aura erupted, moving like a god or devil, shocking heaven and earth, blasting away large amounts of enemies in front, many of them exploding in the air. This kind of terrifying, vicious might made the spectators outside tremble. Was this still a heavenly deity? His divine force was exuberant like an old monster that had cultivated for 10,000 years. Difficult to measure his foundation. Let's join hands and kill to our heart's content. Luo Dali's group of four great experts laughed loudly. Divine bravery unmatched, about to sweep through the entire Han family. Why did you make my clan suffer this? Why did you provoke Su Xianren? An old monster from the Han family who had lived for 10,000 years roared. Who would have thought that Su Xianren would grow to this level? Who would have thought that the declining Burial Region clan would rise up? He was very clear that the Han clan was completely finished. The younger generation was either dead, injured, or in despair. Many of the clan members were fleeing in all directions. Clearly, they had lost their confidence and felt despair. The only thing they could do was to flee. They did not want to face all of this. The powerhouses of the older generation had already been mostly killed by Xiahou previously. Even from the beginning of the war until now, none of the hundreds of powerful warriors guarding the secret realms in the outside world had returned to reinforce the clan. What did this mean? Not only the Han family's ancestral land, but the Han family's various universe secret regions had also been invaded by powerful enemies. The various secret realms under the jurisdiction of this clan had already been dyed red with blood. How long could the ancestral power of the occult sect, which had been passed down for millions of years, last? Even if they survived this calamity, how long could their clans last? Strong against strong, weak against weak. Someone from the outside world side. How ironic. Yiling Tian has been watching the battle between Su Yin and the rest without interfering. If Yiling Tian had interfered, this group of people would have been annihilated long ago. The Han family has been ruined. They lost too miserably. So many experts joined forces, but they couldn't stop four youngsters. Is Su Xianren's era coming? Zhu Tian died in battle. The Northern Goblin nursed a grievance. Sun Dome's fate is unknown, and the heaven-suppressing battle god's head was chopped off by Su Yan. A group of the peak warriors of the younger generation have died at the hands of this group, although they have Qiu Ming and the other divine king above them. With the potential of Su Yin and the rest, they won't need many years to step into the divine king realm. More and more spectators gathered in the outside world. Many people sighed. They had originally thought that the reincarnation universe was Su Yan's death zone, but the contrast was too great. The clan's two powerhouses had killed their way in, and they had even visited the Han family to destroy a great orthodoxy. The impact of this matter was too great. Once news of this spread, the entire world would tremble. A clan that had once been in decline was about to rise again. After all, The clan's younger generation had Su Yin and the others. Once this group of young kings rose up, they would become a terrifying group that would intimidate the entire universe. People could foresee that the chaos ruins would feel suffocated because of their existence. The Han family's foundation is about to collapse. Without the replenishment of the Sea of Life, their supreme expert imprints will soon disappear. There were also people who were paying attention to the struggle between the old chief and the 10 supreme expert imprints. A supreme expert was a supreme expert after all. They were terrifying beyond compare and could look down on the past, present, and future, relying on their own strength. They were able to contend against 10 supreme expert imprints. Even in the face of the suppression of 10 layers of the universe, the old chief still stood at the apex. He struck the 10 supreme expert imprints until they became dim and lightless. One after another, their figures appeared and were about to disappear into space and time. The Han family's ancestor cried out miserably. After all, his decline was too severe. How could he be mentioned in the same breath as Xiaohou? Although he was an 8th grade great-grandmaster, he simply couldn't stop Xiaohou, who wielded the heaven-severing sword. The Han family's ancestor howled in grief. In the end, his eyes flashed with flames of fury. It's an 8th grade Genesis brush. Grandpa Xiaohou, be careful. Su Yan's expression changed greatly. He had caught a supreme fluctuation that could change the heavens and earth. He saw the Han family's old grandmaster bring out a Genesis brush. This was an 8th grade Genesis brush that was filled with the profound mysteries of the universe. Su Yan didn't expect the Han family's ancestor to possess an 8th grade Genesis brush. Moreover, this Genesis brush was now burning. This was a sign that the Genesis brush was about to self-destruct. This old fellow has gone crazy. Su Yan was shocked. The self-destruction of an 8th grade Genesis brush was equivalent to destroying a great Tao Saint weapon. Moreover, the value of an 8th grade Genesis brush was not inferior to a peak Great Tao Saint weapon. Boom! The 8th grade Genesis brush burned fiercely, rippling with the light of destruction. Countless blood-colored heavenly scars interweaved on the brush shaft. What kind of secret technique is this? The expressions of the spectators in the outside world changed. They saw the vast world rumble. The shockwaves spread far and wide, shaking the 4 seas and the universe. The disturbance was boundless. One by one, the large domains dimmed. Everyone saw the divine energy in the nearby large domains converging and penetrating into the 8th grade Genesis brush. This caused the 8th grade Genesis brush to become much more terrifying. This devouring power was too shocking. Su Yan felt his hair stand on end. He speculated that the Han family's old grandmaster was using a supreme secret technique of the strange gate. Roar. Vaguely, a low roar exploded, as if the gates of the gods had been blasted open. A huge space-time tunnel appeared, as if it had crossed the past, present, and future. A supreme figure was born from it, and its aura was actually terrifying and overflowing. Strange Gate 9 Escape Techniques. A cold voice sounded, exploding in everyone's ears. At this moment, all the experts lost their composure. The legendary Strange Gate 9 Escape Techniques, a peerless secret technique that had been lost for a long time. It was also the supreme secret technique of the Strange Gate. Strange Gate 9 Escape Techniques. Su Yan's eyes turned red. He cried out involuntarily. The Han family has mastered the Strange Gate 9 Escape Techniques. This was the strongest secret technique of the Strange Gate. 9 escape techniques that could summon the wind and rain. It was omnipotent. The Strange Gate 9 escape techniques only existed in legends. If all 9 secret techniques were found, their value would not be inferior to any of the 9 strongest divine abilities in history. Divine Shield. The Han family's old grandmaster roared hysterically. This was equivalent to a forbidden secret technique, and its power was unimaginably strong. Once the Divine Shield was used, it would shock the heavens and earth, as if a supreme god had been born. What a powerful secret technique. Even Xiahou was moved. He suddenly saw the king of all living things, majestic and vast, descending from the sky and suppressing everything. Once the divine shield was activated, it could penetrate any powerful life form in the world. When it struck, everyone felt that Xiahou was penetrated. A peerless secret technique that could threaten a supreme being, one of the strange Gate 9 escape techniques, the divine shield. Roar! Xiahou let out a wild roar. If you were your peak, I would have given you some leeway. Unfortunately, your Han family's destiny has come to an end, and your great rivers and mountains are almost destroyed. This secret technique of yours simply does not have the power of your peak. Xiahou went berserk. His head of gray hair danced wildly, and his entire body rippled. Billions of layers of terrifying light of order seemed to recreate the world, transforming the universe. Layers of supreme power contain the power to bury everything. Hidden world. Su Yan was shocked. This was the secret technique of the burial realm, the hidden world's secret technique. The world had changed. Covered in blood, a layer of energy that could bury the world gushed out from Xiahou's body. For a time, it suppressed everything, buried the entire universe, and drowned all life in the universe. The divine shield technique, evolved by the 8th grade Genesis brush, was instantly suppressed by the power of the buried world. Moreover, the divine shield evolved by the Genesis brush seemed to have been exiled into the depths of the universe, into the space of the buried world. Yi Ling-chun laughed loudly. Yi Ling-tian laughed heartily. Xiahou had obtained this burial world's secret technique from the strongest training ground in history. Now, it was showing off its might here. What was a foundation? This was a foundation. It could threaten a supreme being and bury the foundation of a supreme being. Only then could it be called a peerless foundation. However, Xiahou's expression was a little serious. If their Han family had mastered more of the strange Gate 9 escape techniques, it would be hard to say whether they would live or die in this battle. If the rivers and mountains remained the same, the world's momentum intertwined, and the 8th grade Genesis brush self-destructed to form a divine shield, would Grandpa Xiahou be able to block it? Su Yan asked himself. The hidden world buried the world, and the divine shield gathered the power of the world. These were two extreme secret techniques. It allowed Su Yan to see how terrifying the strange Gate 9 escape techniques were. The main reason was that the world had declined, and the divine shield technique's power was not strong enough. Kill. The sound of killing was released, interrupting Su Yan's thoughts. He saw Xiahou once again evolve the power of the hidden world. It surged out and rushed directly towards the Han family's ancestor. No! The Han family's ancestor roared in grief. It was extremely difficult for him to resist. His aging body was covered, and it was difficult for him to resist. The spectators outside were silent. The Han family's ancestor was suppressed. The power of the hidden world was about to swallow the Han family's ancestor. A living fossil that lived in the last era of the universe was about to die. I can't accept this. The Han family's ancestor roared in anger. A pair of blood-red eyes looked at the Han family's ancestral land that was riddled with holes. The glory of the past had all turned to nothingness. The foundation that had been accumulated for millions of years had also collapsed. The Han family's ancestor let out a bitter roar. I won't forgive you when I become a ghost. Just you wait, I will come for you. Pung. Under the trembling eyes of the audience, the Han family's body exploded. He was self-destructing, forcibly breaking the seal of the hidden world's secret technique. The energy of the self-destruction of the Supreme being tore open a terrifying space-time crack. Ancestor. The Han family's experts fell into despair. The ancestor's body had collapsed. Their spiritual support had also collapsed. The spectators outside sighed. The Han family was completely finished. The Supreme Being had fallen, and their foundation had been exhausted. All that was left was a ruined ancestral land. The glory of the past had completely collapsed at this moment. The clan's name had been completely removed from the chaos ruins. However, Xiahou frowned, and his expression was somewhat ugly. Yi Ling-tian also frowned. The Han family's ancestor had self-destructed, and his primordial spirit had disappeared without a trace. Although the primordial spirit of a supreme being was nothing to worry about, it still made them uneasy. The last words of the Han family's ancestor had made their hearts pound. What other foundation did the Han family have? Or rather, did they have any reinforcements? But no matter what, the Han family was completely finished. Yi Lingtian's supreme being's heavenly punishment gathered once more. With the supreme being's heavenly punishment here, no one dared to approach this region of life. Then now, it was time to reap the harvest. Chapter 1082. Darkness once again shrouded the land. The vast universe's great Tao descended with the wrath of heaven's punishment, covering the vast territory. The mighty heavenly punishment was magnificent to the extreme. Billions of lightning bolts fell from the sky, drowning Yi Lingtian again and again. Anyone could see that not only was the giant not restrained by the heavenly punishment of the universe, but he was also getting stronger as he fought. Heaven's punishment has cut off the path. I can't see what's going on inside. The Han family is completely finished. It won't be long before this matter will shake the world. After all, it's an Overlord clan with a heritage of millions of years that has withered. The buried region clan is going to rise. I wonder if the sealed heaven region can sit still and watch serene rise again. The sealed heaven region can't do anything now. Heaven's punishment has cut off the path ahead. No one can get close to the Han family's ancestral land. Unless the sealed heaven region can pay the price of a generation of overlords to force open the path of heaven's punishment and attack the Han family. The spectators discussed animatedly. Some had ugly expressions, some were pleasantly surprised, some were full of respect, and some were full of emotions. The buried region clan had gone through too much. This could be considered a revival of the dead. There were also people who were watching seriously, watching the vast scene of Yi Lingtian's tribulation, wanting to gain experience. Now, there were already rumors circulating in the Chaos Ruins. In fact, since the fall of Zhu Tian and the others, the entire Chaos Ruins trembled. All the orthodoxies let out cries of surprise. Zhu Tian, the North Demon, the heaven-suppressing battle god, the heaven-sealing 10 heroes, how many people died? What tragic event happened in the reincarnation universe? Could it be that the rumors are true? Su Xianren ate the reincarnation fruit and became invincible? Unbelievable. It said that Yi Lingtian of the buried region clan stepped into the realm of overlords and triggered heaven's punishment. He ran directly to the Han family to undergo the tribulation. Oh my God! The vast chaos ruins shook violently. It was a sign that a storm was coming. The whole world was alarmed, and thousands of sects were in an uproar. This was a terrifying event that made the young overlords of the various clans tremble in fear. Su Xianren, you're starting to shake the world. Many young overlords didn't know what to say. From the chaotic mountain to the great Tao city, and then to the reincarnation universe, there were even rumors that the Han family was annihilated. One battle to shock the world. The outside world had been turned upside down. There were even rumors that 2 almighty experts had come out of the sealed heaven region with their supreme treasures. They were on their way to the Han family. The entire ancestral hall was enraged, and the clan's heaven refining cauldron was revived from its slumber. An important piece of news came from the outerverse. An almighty from the ancestral hall had brought along the divine refining furnace, and he was about to make a trip to the Han family's ancestral land. The demon region was not calm either. That terrifying demon aura covered billions of miles. The demon region's mighty figures were furious. The North Demon's death was hard for many of them to accept. Some even felt that Tai Baokai could not be allowed to live. They could not allow the demon region to fall into the hands of Tai Baokai in the future. Under the fury of the 3 great orthodoxies, the universe was thrown into chaos. Gods and demons danced about chaotically. The atmosphere was terrifying to the extreme. The source of all of this was the Han family. News of the Han family's destruction had yet to spread, but the entire chaotic land's atmosphere was extremely stifling. Some people felt that a final battle was about to erupt, and it would definitely be a battle between almighty experts. If Su Yin is invincible, how can the Ancestral Hall and the other clans sit still? To the Ancestral Hall, Su Yan's rise was a cruel reality. If they could not suppress his growth, then the consequences would be unimaginable. They were worried that the buried realm would give birth to a second almighty expert. Although it was a taboo, the entire world knew about it. However, the taboo was suppressed by the universe and could not be revealed. The world was still a place where almighty experts ran amok. Although the buried realm had 3 almighty experts, could they withstand the crazy revenge of the other clans? Within the Han family's ancestral land, Su Yin and the others could not care too much. Clean up the battlefield. Luo Deli excitedly rubbed his hands. The clans that had been passed down for 1,000,000 years had a deep foundation. It was enough to make almighty experts envious. Within their ancestral land, there must be priceless, immortal treasures waiting for them to excavate, especially this sea of life. More than half of it had been swallowed by the dragon totem, but the remaining life essence made Xiaohou gasp in amazement. The value of this life essence was difficult to estimate. For a clan, it could temporarily increase their strength. Boom! Xiaohou's methods were superb. He had created a space of order that encompassed heaven and earth. It could be said that it was a moving space, and he used his magic power to collect a huge amount of life essence. However, with Xiaohou's methods, the space he created could only take away 20 to 30% of the remaining life essence. This made Xiaohou's expression change. How did Su Yin do it? How could he swallow the energy accumulated by the Han family over 1,000,000 years? Even a supreme expert would not be able to swallow it all in a short period of time. He did not have the time to ask these questions. He was constantly opening up space and time to take away all of the life essence. Once this sea of life was moved to Earth, he would use his magic power to refine it into a pool of life. It would inevitably become a holy land for the progenitor to break through. Even if the Divine King were to cultivate here, he would be able to squander it freely. The dragon totem has completely taken shape, right? Su Yin secretly said in his heart. The dragon totem on his arm emitted a thick fluctuation of time. A golden dragon totem covered half of his arm, emitting a matchless dragon might. A golden dragon could be clearly seen. It was vivid and lifelike. If one looked closely, they would be able to clearly see the true dragon's unparalleled heavenly might. Its figure was so vast that it was difficult to measure. It was a type of dragon's reverse scale that would cause certain death if one were to touch it. This dragon totem was really like a living creature. It lay on Su Yan's arm, emitting a prehistoric pressure that shook Su Yan's soul. He wondered if the dragon totem could be revived one day. The dragon totem had a great origin. The awakening of the progenitor was related to the dragon totem. Rumble. In the depths of the Han family's ancestral land, a series of loud explosions were heard one after another, reaching Su Yan's ears. He turned his head and looked into the distance. His heart trembled violently, and he immediately rushed over. Nothing was more important than this matter now. We're rich. Yuan lost control and shouted. His eyes were trembling with excitement. Am I dreaming? Dilly patted his face and said in a daze, Big brother, look, we're rich. The scene in front of them was too spectacular. Rows and rows of treasure vaults were opened. One after another, giant treasure vaults were filled with auspicious light. They rippled and shone upon the blood-stained territory. Everything was sacred to the extreme. In the treasure vaults, all kinds of divine weapons were laid out. They shone brightly, and there were all kinds of weapons. Many of them emitted powerful energy waves. They could unleash a shocking attack at any time. There were also treasure vaults with piles of elixirs. Dozens of treasure vaults added together definitely contained no less than 1,000,000 elixirs. F***, were not just rich. Tensor sucked in a breath of cold air. Millions of elixirs could not be bought with money. They belonged to the Han family's strategic resources. This time, Yiling Tian was also domineering. He charged into the Han family while bearing the universe's heavenly punishment, catching the entire Han family off guard. They did not even have time to breathe. So how could they have the time to use up these elixirs? They did not even have the time to destroy these treasure vaults. Now, Su Yin and the others had benefited. In some of the treasure vaults, the number of chaos ores was extremely difficult to count. There were all kinds of rare chaos ores. What did the Han family do for a living? However, they were the ancestors of the mystical gate lineage. They had too many rare chaos ores in their hands. This is Su Yin gulped. This was an immeasurable amount of wealth. Hundreds of treasure vaults were filled to the brim with all kinds of rare treasures. Piled together, it was enough to form a huge mountain of treasures. Tai Baokai suddenly ran over. He glared at the hundreds of treasure vaults, then at Luo Do Li and the others. He curled his lips and said, "How useless." Tensor and the others' faces darkened. At the same time, they felt that something was amiss. How could Tai Baokai, who was so greedy, remain unmoved? "You've already snuck into the treasure vaults. How many good things have you dug up?" Su Yin strode over. He wanted to hang Baokai up and interrogate him. "Kid, what's with that look?" Bao Tsai's face darkened. "Motherf asterisk cur. We were in a bloody battle just now, and you went to dig for treasures." Tensor snapped out of his daze. "Hee hee." Tai Baokai grinned and said confidently, "I lost too much of my energy earlier and felt weak all over. I thought that I wouldn't be of much help, so I went in to take a stroll to save you all the trouble." Su Yin and the others were helpless. This guy had indeed lost a lot of money, but he was energized after picking up treasures. He was not afraid of being beaten up by the Han family's elders guarding the treasure vaults. "Did you run into some tough nut to crack?" Su Yin asked. If Tai Baokai had nothing better to do, he would not have run over now. He must have run into some difficult problem. Hearing this, Tai Baokai hurriedly said, "I found an underground treasure vault. However, the vault's defense is extremely shocking. There is no way to forcefully open it. Otherwise, all the good things inside will be destroyed." Su Yan's eyes lit up. The Han family was a super clan with a heritage of millions of years. They would definitely have a lot of valuable resources. These resources would definitely be closely guarded. If they could not be opened with the correct method, no one would be able to obtain the things inside the vault. Let's go. Tai Baokai urged. At their level of cultivation, these kinds of resources were what they urgently wanted. Su Yin was naturally anxious as well. He wanted the inheritance of the Han family's Qi Min lineage. In fact, Su Yin wanted to obtain the Qi Min 9 escape techniques that the Han family's ancestors had used. "You guys stay here and clean up the battlefield. I'll go take a look first." Su Yin followed Tai Baokai all the way. Along the way, Su Yan's face darkened and he did not know what to say. The whole world was in a mess. Many hidden underground treasure vaults had been dug out by Tai Baokai. Along the way, he had found at least 500 treasure vaults. "How many good things did you take?" Su Yin was shocked. Could it be that the Han family had thousands of secret treasure vaults? It's all small money. It can't be compared to the big guy. I spent a long time to find them. Tai Baotsai's reply made Su Yin want to pick it up and get a good beating. Small money? Hundreds of treasure vaults had been cleaned out by him, and not even a strand of hair was left behind. How could this be considered a small amount of money? Su Yin looked at the rich Tai Baokai with a malicious gaze. The Tai Baokai shivered under Su Yan's gaze and left without looking back. Soon, Tai Baokai brought Su Yin to their destination. The soil within a 1-mile radius had been dug up by Tai Baokai. Su Yin looked as if he was looking at an abyss. To be more precise, it was as if he was looking at an underground starry sky world. Su Yin sucked in a breath of cold air. This is the treasure land that the Han family's ancestors used their blood, sweat, and tears to create by cutting off the starry sky outside the realm. Tai Baokai was dumbfounded. What kind of domineering method was this? Cutting off the starry sky and throwing it into the Han family's ancestral land to create a secret treasure vault. This method was truly frightening. Don't forget, this was just a secret treasure vault. This condensed starry sky was filled with waves of galactic airflow. Moreover, the domain operated on its own. In the ancient starry sky underground, the galactic airflow was arranged in a crisscrossing pattern. The scene was beautiful and majestic. It was as if 9 galactic dragons were lying in the middle of the ancient galactic airflow. They intertwined with each other, forming a pattern of 9 dragons locking the sky. Suyan's heart thumped. Just the 9 ancient galactic airflow was already a rare treasure. It was equivalent to 9 guards guarding the door of the treasure vault. Chapter 1083. Suyan's eyes were bright, and his golden pupils looked at the ancient starry sky underground. A long time ago, a powerful expert from the Han family had changed the world, cut off a part of the starry sky, and smelted it into a special field pattern. This was definitely the work of a grade 8 great-grandmaster. After all, it was the family's secret treasure house, and it was built with special means. Breaking it was more difficult than opening the sea of life. "Kid, can you do it?" Tai Baokai stretched out its furry paw and wiped the saliva from the corner of its mouth. It had thrown it out from the ground with great difficulty. Baokai guessed that it should be the strongest secret treasure house of the Han family. It must be the place where the most precious secret treasures of the Han family were placed for millions of years. What kind of power was the Han family? They were the ancestors of the strange doors, and they were once glorious. The family's secret treasure house was well preserved, so the things inside must be extraordinary. Suyan was also envious. He said, "You guessed right. If this secret treasure house is opened by force, the ancient starry sky will collapse directly, and the good things inside will be destroyed." Mother Asterisker, the Han family is really cautious. Tai Baokai said with a dark face, "It's on their own territory, and the seal is so intact. I think even if we break it by force, there are a lot of precious things inside. I'm afraid it's very difficult to destroy them." Hearing this, Suyan shook his head and said, "That's not necessarily true. The means of a grade 8 great-grandmaster can't be underestimated. Maybe they can really open it by force. At that time, the transmission array inside the ancient starry sky will be activated, and all the treasures inside will be sent away and thrown into the universe. Where are you going to find them?" Tai Baotsai's face fell, and he urged, "Think of a way to break the array." Suyan kept opening his universal eyes to observe. His golden pupils were shining all the time, and a strong insight emerged. It gathered in the ancient starry sky, and the operation track of the whole array pattern was constantly engraved in the sea of knowledge. First of all, this condensed ancient starry sky was extremely grand. As for the 9-star rivers, they were the power of the 9-star rivers that had been refined by a supreme elder of the Han family in ancient times. Just the power of the 9-star rivers alone was already extremely valuable. Moreover, the 9-fold star river's aura was ever-changing. Sometimes it was like a heavenly sword, sometimes it was like a great halberd, sometimes it was like a qilin, sometimes it was like a huge dragon. Suyan's expression turned solemn. The difficulty of breaking through him had increased greatly. There were treasures smelted in the ancient starry skies, and he guessed that this treasury was very important. Otherwise, the Han family would not have been willing to use the power of the 9 celestial rivers when the Han family was on the brink of annihilation. After all, once the Han family was defeated, the treasury would be taken by Suyan and the others. "Give me some time." Suyan sat cross-legged in the void. His primordial spirit glowed, and his eye of the universe was activated to the maximum as he continued to explore the ancient starry sky. As for the outside world of the Han family, it was a complete mess. More and more experts had gathered, and even a large number of peak experts had arrived. There were also experts from other clans who were itching to make trouble. If the Han family is truly annihilated, their treasury, someone's eyes turned red, and these words caused the surrounding people's eyes to turn red. These words were not wrong. Some old freak's eyes turned purple as they roared. I can vaguely sense that within the heavenly punishment, there are treasure lights shooting into the heavens. It's as if millions of treasures are slowly rising. Some people wanted to vomit blood. He spoke as if he had seen it with his own eyes. Some experts shook their heads. This old freak was bewitching them. The heavenly punishment had already reached this point, and it was impossible for him to see the scene inside. Although they wanted to kill their way in and seize the Han family's treasury, the heavenly punishment was blocking the way. Even if a group of supreme elders came, they would not dare to take the risk. Once they did, the heavenly punishment's power would increase exponentially. If the Han family's treasury, which has been accumulated for millions of years, is obtained by Su Yan's group, the Buried Realm clan will make a fortune. Some experts from the Great Sect side. At the same time, they also felt that this was what they deserved. After all, they had almost allowed the Han family to make a comeback. If the Sea of Life really erupted, the Han family's several ancestral seals would be revived. Even if a supreme elder came, they might not be able to attack the Han family. Even if they succeeded, they would have to pay a bloody price. At this moment, Xiahou had already collected all the remaining energy from the Sea of Life. His eyes were fixed on Yi Yuan and the others who were plundering the treasury. He could not help but feel excited. Currently, the Buried Realm clan was indeed lacking in resources. With the Han family supplies, he believed that the Buried Realm clan would undergo great changes in the next few decades. The three supreme elders were only the beginning. In the future, there would inevitably be other experts who would break through to the supreme elder realm. After all, the cosmic source liquid was a rare supreme treasure. According to the old chief's examination, this cosmic source liquid originated from an extremely ancient era and contained a flawless energy of the universe's laws. What kind of concept was this? With the current conditions of the universe, it was impossible to breed such a thing. At the same time, the old chief suspected that the place where Baokai was born, the dead universe, might be a paradise created by a terrifying prehistoric giant. According to this inference, Tai Baotsai's origin was astonishing. The 49 dragon pillars should be a protective array that protected the dead universe. Could it really be related to a supreme elder of the demon realm? Have you encountered a problem? Xiahou walked over and saw the starry sky. His expression was slightly dignified. Even with his supreme strength, it was difficult for him to see through this complex array. Su Yan nodded. This gave Xiahou a headache. He pondered for a moment and said, "Let's hurry up and attack the Han family. When some outside forces learn about this, they will definitely come to fish in troubled waters. We don't have much time left." Su Yan was naturally aware of this. He suppressed the anxiety in his heart and whispered, "I need some things to refine the array. How high the success rate of opening this treasure vault is. In fact, it depends on our luck. This is a treasure vault made by an 8th grade great grandmaster. I'm not very confident." Although Su Yan was not proficient in the Heavenly Momentum chapter, with his identity as a grandmaster of the occult arts, he was still certain that he could open this treasure vault. He listed hundreds of materials related to the starry sky. These things were not difficult to find, and Baokai took them out in one breath. This made Xiahou smile and say, "Baokai, how many good things did you take out?" "Let me see," Tai Baokai said with a fierce face. "What do you want?" "I dug this out with great difficulty. In the future, I still have to prepare for the revitalization of the demon realm." Xiahou did not know whether to laugh or cry. This was not the supreme elder of the demon realm, but he already wanted to rule the demon realm. "You can forget about it." Su Yan scolded with a smile. If it weren't for Grandpa Xiahou and the others, the Han family would have been defeated. "Dream on. I didn't say that I wouldn't give it to you. Let's talk about it after we leave the Han family." Tai Baokai gritted his teeth. Naturally, he knew that they had contributed the most. At this moment, Su Yan's expression was solemn. He took out the Great Path Origin Brush. The 7th grade Origin Brush shone brightly. This golden Origin Brush, densely covered with Great Path heavenly marks, resonated with the power of heaven and earth. As it was engraved, heaven and earth trembled. The occult arts can change heaven and earth. Su Yan is now a 7th grade Great Grandmaster, which is enough to trigger the momentum of heaven and earth. He can set up an array to trigger the momentum of heaven and earth. Now that he has set up an array, does he want to break it? Xiahou frowned. The array here should have been set up by an 8th grade great grandmaster. Could it be that Su Yin was still confident that he could break it with an array? Hold on, hold on. Xiao didn't say much. Instead, he transmitted his voice to Yi Ling Tian, asking him to stall for time as much as possible. In the land of the ancient starry sky, the heavenly wind was mighty, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. Su Yin caused a great commotion. He inscribed array runes with the origin brush, causing the momentum of heaven and earth to descend and gather in various starry sky materials. Hundreds of starry sky materials were like stars. In the process, Su Yin triggered the earth fire to calcine them. In order to speed up time, he asked Xiahou to coordinate the calcination with the power of a great grandmaster. These hundreds of starry sky materials quickly melted and merged into one. In the process, Su Yin continued to inscribe complex array runes, triggering the power of the stars in outer space and penetrating the melted starry sky liquid. "Are you done?" A ghostly cry came. Yi Ling Tian's flesh was torn open by the cosmic heavenly punishment. He looked so miserable that he couldn't bear it anymore. After all, he had been suppressing his divine power to prevent the cosmic heavenly punishment from ending so quickly. The people watching from the outside were also impatient. What was going on? It had been almost an entire day, but the cosmic heavenly punishment was still going on. Hold on a little longer. You're so tough. What are you afraid of? Xiahou transmitted his voice. This is a heavenly punishment. I'm about to be roasted. Yi Ling Tian almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The giant's body glowed as he withstood the heavenly punishment lightning that rolled down from the universe. His hair stood on end as he was badly battered. Black smoke rose from his body. Is there really meat fragrance? Tai Baotsai's honest fat face trembled. He stood up abruptly and looked at Yi Ling Tian, who was bathed in lightning with his panda eyes. His legs were restless as he wondered if the meat of a great grandmaster was delicious. Soon, Su Yin roared fiercely. The 7th grade origin brush erupted to the extreme and drew in the vast starry sky essence. He shouted, "Star array form." The starry sky liquid covered in complex runes glowed. After bathing in the power of the starry sky, the liquid rolled into a ball and turned into a bright star in an instant. It hung in the void and rotated as if it could roll down and smash a divine king to death. Success or failure depends on this. Su Yan's big hand slapped on the evolved star. It was as if he was plucking the stars and catching the moon. The star rapidly flew down and smashed into the ancient starry sky. Xiahou was a little nervous as he watched this scene. The star smashed into the ancient starry sky and instantly bombarded the central area of the 9 dragons locking heaven pattern. From this moment on, the power of the 9 galaxies overflowed into the sky like 9 starry sky dragons. The domain that originally locked the ancient starry sky now locked the star. The star trembled violently, as if it was about to collapse. The 9 galaxies were extremely terrifying. Their aura was changeable like dragons and swords. It made the star engraved by Su Yin tremble as if it couldn't withstand it and was about to collapse. Good treasure, suitable for my 9, the Arch Great Tao. Tai Baokai howled excitedly. Stop talking, Su Yin urged. We don't have more than half an incense stick's time. Quickly go in and take away the treasures in the ancient starry sky. Quickly. Su Yin replaced the star and temporarily made the 9 dragons locking heaven pattern lose its effect. However, he knew that the star wouldn't last long and would collapse. At that time, the pattern would lock the domain again. Xiahou and the others rushed to the center and escaped into the ancient starry sky. When they arrived at the interior, they were all shocked. This was really a big deal. The ancient starry sky world was lined up with stars. On each star, there were all kinds of treasures piled up. Baokai was drooling and couldn't move. The treasures piled up here were indeed of extremely high quality. There were even some star palaces emitting divine light and the sound of the great Tao. There must be a large number of scriptures piled up here. And what surprised Su Yin the most was that the core area of the ancient starry sky seemed to have a silver iron tree rooted there. The silver iron tree was densely covered with bronze veins. It was steaming with the light of the starry sky and emitting a vast and majestic fluctuation of the great Tao of the starry sky. On the iron tree, there were golden fruits that looked like huge golden stars hanging there. Divine medicine. Xiahou laughed. This is a divine medicine, the legendary starry sky tree. It blossoms every 10,000 years. 10,000 years to bear fruit and 10,000 years to mature.